cartoons from present in the past. Every week will be an animated bash. What a cartoon! What a cartoon! Maybe a short but mostly shows. We'll talk, we'll analyze, exploring as we go. What a cartoon! What a cartoon! What a cartoon! What a cartoon!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to What a Cartoon, where we get along and eventually try again. I'm one of your hosts, the guy in the back half of a dragon costume, Bob Mackey, and this is an audio exploration of every cartoon ever. Who is here with me today, as always?
Henry Gilbert, and the show must go on.
And who is here with me today in the same room?
The infamous parrot spooker, Nina Inverse.
And this month's podcast is all about the Slayers episode, Passion. Shall we give our lives for the stage?
All witness, the force of justice is now here! Oh boy, I'm such a ham.
And yes, just a few months after outlawing anime on our network, we're back with an anime-focused episode of What a Cartoon. So at this point, I really do feel like Seymour Skinner telling the audience the PTA has not disbanded, and neither have our efforts to cover anime. We just wanted to point out that people seem to like things that aren't anime, but we have not given up entirely, which is why we are returning to Slayers, the comedic fantasy anime series that's a hit with a certain generation of anime fans, and by that I mean old people. And even though it never had a chance to shine on American TV, and it's mostly seen as a relic of the VHS era, lots of people really love it, and we're hitting this on the anniversary of the anime's 30th anniversary. So we're doing this at the right time because I dragged my feet for 8 years of What a Cartoon. We finally ran into a milestone.
Yeah, and Bob and I have been talking about doing this for What a Cartoon for years now.
That's true. It's something I wanted to do from the beginning of the podcast series, just something I've always loved. And then I met a new thing I've always loved, my wife.
Yeah, this is something we bonded over early in our relationship.
Yes, well, our Slayers fandom, and then when COVID separated us, we watched a lot of things together, but we watched Slayers Next together. That's the second season of Slayers, and it was probably the first time I'd watched that in maybe 15 years, so it brought me back to Slayers, and it planted the kernel in my head. We really need to cover it, so here we are more than 5 years later.
I think even before you guys started dating, I had written down in our notes of like topics for guests on What a Cartoon, and I think you had already said, "Oh, put down Nina for Slayers."
Yeah, and I'm not sure why it took me so long. Maybe it's because it's such an early part of my anime fandom. I wanted to have enough time and be in the right headspace to cover it in the right way. And folks, this is going to be a long one. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. You can see how long it is immediately. We don't know yet, but I feel like it might be more than 3 hours with the amount of research that I've accumulated and also which Nina has accumulated. She did her own independent research, and not the kind that gets you COVID. She did the real kind of independent research, the kind that makes you learn more about Slayers.
Looking to the future here. 5 hours?
This is basically a What a Cartoon movie, but about 18 minutes of animation.
Well, because we're not doing one of the Slayers movies, thankfully.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those, but we'll talk more about those later. But yes, I've introduced Slayers, like I said, 1995 anime series, comedic fantasy, lots of fun stuff going on. I do want to talk about our experience with this series. Let's start with special guest in the same room with me, Nina Matsumoto. What's going on, Nina? Slayers and you?
So I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before in past podcasts, but I grew up actually not super into cartoons. I like live action more. And so I was also not into anime. I kind of resisted watching anime aside from like kids cartoon like Doraemon. Like every Japanese child grows up watching Doraemon or Sazae-san.
That's why we're the perfect odd couple, right? You hate cartoons and I love them.
Exactly. I don't hate them, folks. But people like my classmates would expect me to be into anime just because I'm Japanese, and I didn't want to be a stereotype. So I didn't want to like give into that preconceived notion of me, especially since I'm an artist. I would say, oh, I like to draw, and people would say, oh, what? So you draw like Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon?
Please draw me 30 Gokus, Nina.
I couldn't even do that now.
There's a lot of lines on that guy.
And back then, like I've now seen those series, but back then I did not watch those, and I resented the fact that people expected that of me just because I'm Japanese. Of course, now I fully lean into the stereotype I draw manga, yes. I have seen Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon, and I do martial arts.
We're planning our third trip to Japan together.
Yes.
And you went several times, although you have a Japanese family, it's true. You went with them as a civilian,
Oh yeah, yeah. But
not as an anime fan.
they actually, my family, they also expected me to like anime too, and I was like, no, live action only. So I resisted. Well, you might be asking like, but you like The Simpsons? Yes, because I consider that more of a sitcom than a cartoon, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
So I started avoiding anime basically out of spite, as you do when you're a teenager. And when I was in grade 8, which is the first year of high school here, because we don't have middle school, that was like, I think 1997. One of my friends who Bob knows and has hung out with, Carla, you know her, because we're still friends. She worked at a video rental store in Vancouver, and she's very much into animation. So she would introduce me to things like Disney films and anime, and I would be a grump about them, but I would enjoy some stuff. And Slayers was one of those things. She said, you should watch Slayers. It's great, and I think you'll like it. I said, I'm not really into anime, and I'm especially not into Fantasy Sword and Cape stuff. And she said, no, this makes fun of fantasy tropes. You'll like it. And she was right. And from then on, I answered the call of my ancestors and started watching anime. So Slayers was what got me into Japanese animation.
That's incredible. I forgot it was so formative for you.
Oh, it was very, very formative. It did surprise me when I watched it. I was surprised by how funny it was, and also the fact that the dub was so good.
Oh, yeah, we'll be talking a lot about the dub on this episode and celebrating those actors. Henry, how about you? You and Slayers, because I know you were more a fan of another show about a fiery redhead that was not voiced by Megumi Hiyashibara, but she was part of the cast.
Yes, no, I was a big fan of a lot of the early VHS releases of anime in the U.S. You know, we covered Ranma One Half. I really like that one. Our guests, we've talked a lot about how it was a big deal to sell uncut anime in the U.S. that was like professionally dubbed. And the same person, my friend Will, from middle school into high school, he introduced me to Ranma One Half and Bubblegum Crisis and Ninja Scroll, but he also was a big fan of Slayers. I think it was that his older brother was too, also because his older brother was he played D&D a lot, Dungeons and Dragons. When I got into tabletop role-playing games, I more played goth or weirder ones. Like I played the Vampire the Masquerade games or a silly one called Paranoia, but I could still appreciate all of like the fantasy tropes parody in Slayers. I really like glommed onto, but it was not one. I was more of a secondary fan to it that my friend was really into, but I watched all of the original series with him a while back, but it's been so long since I've checked out Slayers.
Oh, really? I didn't know you had seen all the original first season.
Yes, all the first season. I think I started next and watched some of the movies, but I didn't do Try. Try's the third, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of it. I mean, not compared to other huger series, but there's quite a bit of Slayers to go around. And as for me, I feel like I was drawn to it because I was a big fan of Japanese RPGs, pre-Final Fantasy VII even. I was a big fan of those. And that's why Final Fantasy, Legend of the Crystals, and Ruin Explorers were two of the early anime purchases for me on VHS. And while I'm sure I would have stumbled into Slayers at some point, it was all thanks to my high school girlfriend who got me way into the series. Now, full disclosure, everybody, it was a different time. She was 15 years old, and, you know, we've moved on since then. But I was 17, so it was fine. That made it okay.
Yeah.
15, that's Lena's age.
Yes, it's true. Maybe I was looking for a Lena and not knowing it.
Was she spicy like Lena?
I don't want to cast any shade here, but no, she was not. She's perfectly fine. I'm sure she turned out okay despite dating me. And yes, as a teenager. And so because of her, I really got into anime. I had a lot more access to it because we have to remind people as old folks on this podcast that anime tapes were expensive. It was like $25 if you want the dub, $35 if you want the sub. And we don't have torrents yet. We don't have streaming video yet, so you need to go to a con, you need to have the hookup, and at this point in my life, that girlfriend was the hookup. I watched a lot of stuff like Tenchi Muyo and Slayers and so on, and that's how I got into it. So I really spent the late 90s and early aughts fixated on Slayers, but it was kind of easy to fall out of the fandom because there weren't a lot of things happening until a revival in the late aughts. So Slayers is kind of over for the most part as an anime series in the 90s, and then it's a very long wait until we get to the revival series. But since the series dried up, I've rewatched the second series with Nina. I've read the first now 9 light novels. By the way, the original source material is all available in English for the first time. So I'm having a real Slayers revival of my own. And funnily enough, the first animation cell I ever bought is one that features Lena Inverse running. She's just like, it's a shot of Lena Inverse running, and it's drawn by nobody, and it's worth nothing. But it cost me $15, and that was at Otakon 2001, the only Otakon I went to out of like the 20 anime cons I attended. At this point, I think I should get around to framing it. It's only been in the same envelope for 24 years.
$15, that's so cheap.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's incredibly cheap. And I have seen it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's okay for $15.
Yeah.
You could do worse.
Now it would be like $200 at least. But
I've been wanting to buy like a good Lena Inverse cell for a while now because I used to buy cells. But I do have 2 Slayer cells, one of Rezo and one of Copy Rezo, because Rezo is my favorite character.
yes, do you have your Rezo here with you?
I do.
She's got a stuffed Rezo, people. It's sick.
Yes, it's listeners cannot see this, but it's glorious.
That's
I like
amazing.
it. There's a lot of detail. But that's an original 1995
It's
Rezo.
very old and it still
Yeah.
has a tag on it.
That's nice. I
No one
appreciate
cares about
that.
this character but me. I'm the freak here.
Yeah, but when I bought the cell at Otakon, the series was like 6 years old.
Mm.
So I guess it was fairly new, and it wouldn't be that rare. But I imagine it'd be a lot more today if I wanted a Slayer cell to track one down.
No, totally. I
Yeah.
also want to note that my first live journal name was Rezo based one, and my first domain name was also Rezo based.
Have we said that
Wow.
Rezo is the villain of Slayers?
Yes,
in
he's
the
a
first season?
villain of this season.
Yeah.
Yes. And I also want to point out that I'm a big fan of this first season, especially. I never finished the second season until a few years ago when I watched it all with Bob. And I've never seen the third season. And I've also not seen the movie or OVAs. And I think of myself as the average Simpsons fan who has seen less than a third of the series and don't engage with other media like comic books or games.
And you haven't seen the late aught series then either, right?
No, I dipped into a tiny bit just because I heard that Rezo comes back
Yes.
in flashbacks.
But even that couldn't get you to stay.
No.
Yeah, actually, this is going to be a 9-hour podcast. I wanted to bring this up. So I bought that cell at Otakon 2001, and one thing that astounds me about my friend Henry Gilbert is he has never been to an anime convention. Henry, how is this possible?
Man, well, it's like
Henry's
I
wearing an
feel like
Evangelion hoodie right now, and he's going to an Evangelion concert in a week.
I would always get my fill at comic conventions are obviously full of anime and Japanese media as well. Like so, I got my taste of it when I was going to like at least one comic book convention a year. I could buy DVDs and VHSs there. Yeah. So
I see. I'm just so sad because it's such a vital experience of the young anime nerd to go to one of those.
no, it was a lonely time as the anime nerd at because I felt like somebody who could speak 2 languages, that the American comic book fans who weren't weebs and didn't like how big Japanese comics were becoming. I was like, well, I read all of those too. I just had to suffer in silence. It was horrible.
We have to carry manga now.
Oh, in the early aughts, Slayers cosplay was very popular.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
everyone loved Slayers.
Yeah.
I used to cosplay back then too, and I always wanted to cosplay a character from Slayers. You'll never guess who.
Rezo?
It actually wasn't. It
Oh,
was,
Zelgadis.
No,
Who is it?
Zangulis.
Oh, Zangulis. Okay.
of
well,
all
he-
characters.
We'll be talking about Zangulis in this episode. Actually, I mean, everyone's aboard for this 5-hour podcast. I can mention that my first anime con was Ohio Con 2001 in January of 01. And I was like, I don't know what the anime con experience is going to be like. I'm here with friends. I have a good first night. I wake up. The next morning in the hotel restaurant, I see the entire cast of Slayers eating breakfast together. And I thought, okay, I'm on board with this. This is a magical experience for me.
Were
And
they
oh, go ahead.
Were they fighting over a giant piece of meat?
No, they were just regular humans.
Were they stacking empty dishes?
No,
on
they
top
were
of
all
each
having
other?
like one plate up from the buffet each. So they weren't living it up. But then they'd be sick. They could not cosplay. They'd just be busting through their costumes.
Yeah, it's true. They got to be careful.
But yeah, that really won me over. But I'm just going to be reflecting. I'm sure we all will be reflecting on just what was like to be an anime fan in the early aughts.
Did you buy any of the tapes? Because I had to.
Only a few of them. But then I met a magical woman who gave me access to all the anime I wanted.
See, the video store that my friend worked at, they didn't have all the tapes. So after like I don't think they even had the full first season. So after a few VHS tapes, we had to start buying our own, and those were hard to find, and they were very expensive.
Yeah, I think I might have bought a few of the Slayer's Next tapes before I
did, yeah.
realized, like, man, there's 8 of these.
I bought some of the Slayer's Next tapes too, and those were ones where I didn't mind buying the dub, because the sub ones were more expensive for some reason.
Well,
Except for one character, right?
What do you mean?
Oh, Miss Nina.
Oh,
I've been dubbed terribly.
oh, Zelos.
Yeah, we're talking about Zealous, everybody. It's a character.
Some of the characters are not as well dubbed as
No,
others.
this dub is fun in an old crusty way. Henry, sorry, we're talking back and forth here.
No, I was gonna say yes. This was back when you had to choose sub and dubs. They weren't on the same thing, and I mean, it was hard enough paying like $25 for usually 2 episodes of something. In American $25 at Suncoast Video. I would assume in Canada it was even steeper.
The Slayer's Next and I think Try tapes were really cool because the spine formed a picture when you collect them all.
Oh yeah, that could have been the case of the original anime as well.
Was it? I thought they just had the
Maybe.
title and like a character on each one. I think
could
they
be
had.
thinking of the DVDs.
I think the first season had artwork not even from like this anime. They used like artwork from the novels
okay,
to put on the cover.
I can see that. Things were pretty
Yes.
loose, fast and loose back then.
Yeah, and then the packaging started getting more cohesive from Next and then on.
Well, I should also say my friends who lent me Slayers, I feel like half of theirs were copies. Like they actually did have when I say dubbing, I don't mean replacing of language, like a tape dubbing 2 VCRs set up for copying things. So like one tape was just like, this is all of Slayers in EP mode on one VHS.
That sounds rough. And I should point out that we've talked about Slayers, we've talked about what it is, and I don't think I've mentioned yet that it's very unavailable right now. It's very strange it's unavailable because it was available widely for so long. Funimation had the rights last, and currently you can't buy it physically, you can't stream it anywhere, but if you want to watch the episode we're talking about and the other episodes, just go to your old buddy archive.org. They do a great job of cataloging lost media, and obviously if it becomes available again and if you want to watch more of it, please buy it, and it's always very cheap when it's available. I think when I bought Nina the box set of all 3 seasons, it was like $20. It was very, very inexpensive.
I'm surprised that they let that go out of print.
I am too.
I wish it was more available because when I was in high school and I had my small group of friends who were super into anime, we would show some of our non-anime friends some stuff sometimes, and they always liked Slayers. Slayers is the animated show to people who say they don't like anime.
That's true.
It worked on
Slayers,
me.
Cowboy
Yeah.
Bebop, Trigun maybe.
I couldn't get into Cowboy Bebop or Trigun.
I don't understand that at all.
Ooh.
We
I
need to- we
know.
need to try again. As they say in
Hey.
Slayer's opening.
Right. No, it's Slayers was one of those onboarding ones of you would look at friends and be like, well, what type of other things do you like? Like the friends who like loved violent anime, or violent movies, live action ones. Ninja Scroll was always the easy one, but if you were a comedy nerd who liked, especially if you were playing parodies of, or if you're a fan of, say, Terry Pratchett, also Slayers was a big first recommendation.
Yeah, now that I've read Terry Pratchett books, I can see why I got into Slayers as well. I only started reading Terry Pratchett like in my 40s, and there's a lot of connections there in terms of the approach to fantasy where there are a lot of jokes, there's a lot of parody, but eventually like things do get serious and you're invested enough in the world that you take the stakes seriously when they become life-threatening for the characters.
There is a big reason why so many people get into Slayers.
Oh, Nina,
It's-
give a reason. Please.
We can't keep doing this.
I'm referencing the opening of the second series, by the way.
No, that's the first one.
The opening of Slayers Next, the second series.
Oh, sorry.
Is Give a Reason. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Anyway, I think the reason why I and others got into Slayers so much is it has a very strong female protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
She is an amazing character.
Yes. I'm glad you brought up Lena Inverse, the main character, because apparently, I guess you told me these kind of characters are more common in anime, but I
Yeah.
had never seen a female character like her that is barely sexualized in the anime, at least, and she's basically has the personality of Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, she's like greedy and bratty and loud and not classy at all.
Not trying to fall in love either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very confident, very independent. Hates when people look down on her.
Violent.
Yeah, violent.
I love she says her strong negotiator too. Like she's like she works in freelance. She does not cut her rates for people. Like that's something I like about for me watching a couple more episodes. I was like, oh yeah, Lena's so great.
She's super shrewd. Yeah.
I even though I say I didn't grow up watching cartoons, I did grow up reading a lot of comics, especially ones from Japan. And yeah, that is like a huge trope in especially comics geared towards girls for obvious reasons. Just having like this bratty girl. Actually, Sailor Moon is kind of like that too.
Yeah, it's why I like Sailor Moon, but I was like thinking, nobody can catch me watching this. I'll die because of it's all girls. And then when I get a little older, I think I'm not as embarrassed about Slayers because of the fact that Lena is not sexualized. And it's like it's an area where everyone thinks anime is porn, and they walk by and they see a fully clothed warrior girl, and they're like, okay, that's fine. Then we have Naga. We'll talk about her. That's a different story, even though it's parody. People can get the wrong impression if you're watching like a Slayers movie.
You know, people I think give Usagi or aka Sailor Moon a bad rep because they say, oh, she's so weak and she's a crybaby and she's always saved by Tuxedo Mask. That's only in the beginning. She grows as a character, people.
You got to watch it all.
Yes. But I understand being annoyed by her in the very beginning. She is very, very whiny, and Lena is like the complete opposite of that. And Lena, at least in the beginning, she does not fight for justice or anything like that, really, or
No.
for the good of the world. She just wants money.
Yeah, and then she eventually has to be convinced to do the right thing.
Yeah. But ultimately, she wants fame and fortune. That is her biggest motivator.
It's right in the intro, right? Baked into the very thing. The first time you see Lena, it's like these are the three things she's after. So let's talk about the history of Slayers. We're half an hour in, or 20 minutes in at this point. And so there's not a whole lot of Slayers history on the English language internet. Nina has a lot on her plate. I asked her to do a little research. She went above and beyond and did a ton of independent research on the Japanese internet. So I feel like a lot of the information we'll be presenting will be exclusive to English language listeners.
Yes, I found this YouTube channel run by a long-running Hajime Kanzaka fan group, like fan club. That's the creator of Slayers. He's a writer. And for the last few years, they've been putting up YouTube videos of Kanzaka and the artist answering questions, talking about Slayers and like the lore, answering questions from fans. And these videos only have like a few hundred views each. And I'm wondering, like, does the English fandom know about this?
I don't think
At
so.
all?
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't know, and I was doing research for this episode, and it's not
Yeah.
like the YouTube channel does not have an obvious name, like
No.
Slayer's channel.
No, it's like some person's name is the account name.
Yeah,
And the fan club is Mega Brand or
Right.
Mega Brando.
based on one of the spells from Slayers.
Mhm.
And you watch a lot of these videos.
I watch a ton of them. There's so much there.
Yeah, yeah, and apparently we're one of the 300 people that have seen any of these.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So if you like Slayers, get ready for a ton of original information. Even if you don't know about the series, I'm sure you'll find it interesting. But so just some general information about the anime. It ran for 3 seasons from 95 to 97. There were 2 revival seasons in 08 and 09. That makes for 104 episodes total. And Slayers spawned a kind of mini empire that persisted up until the end of the 90s. So alongside the original 3 seasons, there are 6 OVA episodes. There's 5 movies. One of these is a shorter film. There's radio dramas. There's video games. There's more. But Westerners really are only familiar with the anime because that's all we got. You would hear about, like, you'd see these untranslated video game ROMs. You would hear about these other Slayers things. You could get the drama CDs and the CDs of the character songs, but nothing was really being localized outside of the TV, movies, and OVAs.
I loved the character vocal song albums.
They were lost on me because I couldn't understand them, but I still listen
Right.
to them.
Oh, but like there's a lot of English lyrics in them,
Yeah, yeah.
especially one of Zelgadis's songs.
Here and there, here and there. I'm more a fan of Valgov's song.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Only Lonely Soldier. But I don't want to get into the weeds here because we have a lot to cover. And Slayers is the creation of a writer we've mentioned earlier, Hajime Kanzaka. So he was born on July 17th, 1964. And like a lot of Japanese creators, we don't know a whole lot about him. And the most we learn about Kanzaka comes from these very comedic question and answer segments at the end of the light novels in which Lena Inverse is interviewing him. So you basically learn about his process, what he was doing at the time and like how he feels about certain characters and how he feels about what fans think of his work. So some very light stuff. It's sort of like the questions and answers you see like in a One Piece manga
Yeah.
where the author of that will answer some questions sent in by readers.
Well, usually with most, I've read a lot of interviews with different Japanese creators. It seems like a lot of them do like putting up a level of mystique, or also, I mean, even when they like when some creators come to the U.S. at conventions, like they do ask, don't take pictures of my face, and there's still that they enjoy, and there's a lot of anonymity they like in that stuff.
Yeah, even Ichiro Oda, the One Piece guy, there's only a few pictures of him, and he has one of the best-selling books on the planet. So he came up in the time when people were starting to be more protective of their identities and their images. So Nina, I'm going to rely on some of her research based on these videos. So I've got a little bit more about Hajime Kanzaka, the author of the Slayers novels, which would eventually turn into the anime and many other things. So as a child, he would fill up notebooks with his stories. In high school, he'd share stories he wrote with his friends who were also into writing. And he was more into sci-fi like space operas and involving themes like psychic powers, because psychic powers are very popular in this era in Japan. Right, Nina?
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that he was so into sci-fi. Something tells me, judging from Lost Universe, which we'll go into later, maybe he's not very good at it.
No, or maybe it
Oh.
was just adapted poorly, but Lost Universe is a series he made after Slayers, or during Slayers, that was turned to an anime after Slayers.
Oh wow.
Nobody really likes it, though, and it's ugly as hell and hard to watch.
This is why my Slayer's loving friend never told me about it. I have to guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you never heard of Lost Universe?
It's not. Maybe if I saw a picture of it, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that." But
It was never popular.
Yeah, it was never popular. And a lot of people gave it a chance because of Slayers, but then they were like, well, this isn't very good.
I think only the most hardcore Slayers fans kind of gave it a try.
Yeah. And so Kanzaka loves Gundam. He loves Star Wars. There's even a character named Luke in the novels at some point. I've actually reached that point that they introduced Luke. Nothing like Luke Skywalker, or as I call him, Nuke Skywalker, because he blows up the scene whenever he arrives.
There's a Sword of Light in Slayers as well.
Yes, Gowry's weapon is basically a lightsaber. And yeah, it does make lightsaber noises in the anime. They can't avoid that. So in 1979, Kanzaka was a high school junior, and he thought cartoons for kids looked down on their audience too much. And a friend was like, hey, there's this thing called Gundam. You should check it out. And the first episode he saw was number 14. It was called Time Be Still. And according to him, there's a scene where a character, a Zeon soldier, is sweating under a full face helmet. He brings up his hand to wipe the sweat away. He realizes there's a helmet, so he can't just wipe the sweat away. So instead, he knocks on the helmet. And that really impressed him, that detail. So that got him hooked on Gundam and cartoons in general. And he calls this a major turning point in his life. And Nina quoted him by saying, if I hadn't seen this episode, Slayers may never have existed. That's a quote from the video, by the way. But
Wow.
Nina, you couldn't find this clip, right?
No, I'm wondering if it's like a false memory. Maybe it was a different episode.
It could be a different episode entirely.
Yeah, like to be fair, I didn't watch this episode from beginning till end, but I did watch all the scenes with the Zeon soldiers where they were wearing the full face helmet, and I did not spot a scene like that.
Okay.
It's been a minute since I've seen Mobile Suit Gundam. That scene isn't speaking to me either. Though also, I mean, that series was so huge for his generation of creators. Like, I mean, basically everybody who worked at Gainax and most other studios, like, Gundam was what made them want to make stuff. Though even for a guy who made Slayers, to learn that Gundam was influential to him, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I guess he was a kid then, but Gundam was an anime that showed a lot of adults. Okay, we can take this form seriously. It's not just to sell kids things. It's not just to keep the kids entertained. There are more mature themes happening here.
And I love how much this story parallels my introduction to Slayers, because both Kanzaka and I kind of were not interested in cartoons, and a friend said, hey, you should watch this cartoon. It's really cool. Like, I might not have gone into anime if not for Slayers.
If only Slayers was as popular as Gundam, though.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's not.
I never had a chance.
Mm-mm. So fantasy influence on Kanzaka. He had a Famicom, played games like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, but he visited his friend's place to play PC games like Fantasian and the Black Onyx, which left a greater impression on him. And he also loved reading Dungeons and Dragons handbooks, but didn't have anyone to play with. That's what I actually relate to, because I loved reading the rule books, But I'm like, well, then now what do I do? Like nobody would entertain me in terms of like playing the game. So I just
Yeah.
like reading the rules and learning about the worlds.
I didn't have that experience, but I know other people who had that exact same experience as you. I would read like game manuals to games I didn't own.
This is what we did before phones, everybody.
Yeah.
Now that
Like, I'll read this rule book. Maybe someone will play with me if I look sad enough.
see that. Meanwhile, for me, like I didn't. D&D was played by other people I knew, but the main thing my group was playing was what they were against D&D. Like at the time, the feeling was like D&D is too complicated and we can't have as much fun. Like these are sillier things like that we can do in the other ones. Without realizing we could have had fun in D&D just as much.
Now the kids love D&D. They love their critical roles and whatnot.
I
And,
think it was way too complicated back then, from what I've heard.
yeah,
The-
advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
The
Yeah.
5th edition, which I think is the most recent one, is way more accessible. They streamlined a lot of things.
So moving back to Kanzaka, he graduated from the Kobe Art Technical College and was working as a salaryman, as many people do in Japan. And on a whim, he decided to submit a story to the Japanese Fantasy Novel Awards. And this happened in 1989, which was the debut of this competition. So I'm guessing the creation of this fiction writing contest got a lot of creatives to finally get off their ass and submit the story they've been dreaming up, because this seemed like a big thing for a lot of people. A lot of famous authors got their start via this contest, and he submitted the first year, and he won the runner-up prize. So
Aw.
this is where the first Slayer story gets published, and this happens in 1990, which means 2025 is the 35th anniversary of Slayers as a whole. So we've hit the 35th anniversary of the property and the 30th anniversary of the anime series.
You say aw, Henry, but Runner Up is still pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. It led to a book deal.
An honorable mention is still honorable, I will say.
Well, what did that first place person do? Who knows? Never heard
Oh,
of this.
I mean, the list of these awards, they're online, but I didn't bother looking up who actually won the contest. But if you want to look them up, you can read these all on Wikipedia, the winners of this contest, which I believe is still happening today. So they published the first story. The editors want a second story. At this point, Slayers transitions from full-on jokey parody to something a little more thoughtful. You can see the same like progression in Terry Pratchett's Discworld, where the first couple of novels are just like, let's take the piss out of these fantasy tropes. And once he runs out of steam doing that, he's like, all right, I've built a world. Now let's take things a little more seriously. And it's still going to be comedic, but it's not about like sending up fantasy anymore.
I feel like this happens in Japanese media all the time.
What's another example?
Like Sailor Moon.
Okay.
That starts off very, very jokey, and then I think by the end of the first season, like everyone is like dying off.
Yes, I guess so. I mean, was that made to kind of parody magical girl stuff, or was it just being another one of those shows?
No, it was just taking itself very seriously.
Okay, interesting.
I also think another good example I can think of is Urusei Yatsura. When that started, like she also Rumiko Takahashi entered it in a competition and just planned it as like a one-off. Like even the most popular character, Lum, wasn't even supposed to be the main character, and then like it took like a year or two before it became like the high school comedy storyline that it really what got so popular for it.
And I guess the comedy is like lets you ease into things, and then they kind of drop the floor out under you when things get dramatic, and like you're already attached to the characters. It's a good device, I think. It's a good, even if it seems unintentional in some cases.
Some people might be turned off by the sudden shift in tone, though. I've heard that as a common complaint for some anime series.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me in this because even when serious things are happening, they still get jokey, you know?
The serious stuff is so fast paced.
Yeah, that too. And people say the third series, Slayer's Try, or the third season is like, oh, it's a serious one. But they also said that about Avatar. And then we rewatched Avatar, or we watched Avatar, and it's like, here's the dark season, and it's still pretty light.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah. Even though like they're dealing with darker themes and the stakes are higher, the show fundamentally hasn't changed that much, I think.
Doesn't in the last Airbender, it even in its third season, doesn't it have like an acting troupe episode that's kind of like this one too?
That sounds right.
Oh, yeah.
They have like comedy filler episodes.
That's like I feel like that's a pretty common type of episode. Not necessarily like full episode, but it's a common thing when there's like a some kind of theatrical version of the
Yeah.
current story.
And if they can do meta stuff where they make fun of themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
So we talked about Kanzaka in the Slayers novels. Now, these novels did have illustrations. So the other half of the team is Rui Araizumi, who's in charge of the illustrations. And it sounds like this artist was assigned to the project by the publication because seemingly they don't really have a lot of contact with each other based on the videos you watch, Nina. Is that
At least
correct?
back then, yeah.
Back then, yeah. They
It
were
was
just
the editors were their respective editors were talking to each other.
But this person is the reason the characters have all of these really great designs. Although, if you pay close attention to other Slayers media, you'll notice that the non-TV stuff, that hews a little closer to Arizumi's original designs. The TV stuff is not that different. It's just a little simpler, a little broader, I feel. And I really like the TV designs a lot more, actually, than their original work, even though it's not that different.
Yeah, same.
And I do want to note that we're using they, them pronouns for Arizumi because based on some recent posts and how they appear in these videos, it seems like they're at least experimenting with gender, although it's even more complicated in Japan as with, the pronouns you can use. And I guess they are still using masculine pronouns when they speak.
Yeah. This is like a recent development. Like if you go on their Twitter, they still use male personal pronouns and refer to themselves as an old man, but in their selfies, they very much present as feminine, like a very girly girl. And when people leave comments like, oh, wait, Rui Araizumi is a woman? I always thought it was a guy. Rui never confirms nor denies. Also, on that Kanzaka fan YouTube I mentioned, where Rui phones in for discussions, they use a female avatar and a voice changer to make themselves sound feminine. But again, still uses male pronouns. So
Yeah.
to be safe, I think we should use they, them.
Yeah, we don't know what they think about what's going on here or what their, identity is. At least they're not public about it. So yeah, I guess we can just speculate.
Hmm.
Wow.
But yeah, that's. Oh, Henry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's very interesting. That's
For the longest time, they presented as male. So this came as a surprise to me, too, when I checked their Twitter.
Yeah, I guess like it's more of like a interesting thing to draw out of it, but they have made a lot of great female characters, and Slayers is
Mhm.
like largely a female cast.
Yeah, it's a pretty feminist piece of work.
Mhm. So in terms of what inspired Araizumi, so they didn't own a Famicom or a Super Famicom, although they did buy a Super Famicom to play the Slayers game, one of them. They'd go to arcades and play stuff like Space Invaders, but they didn't actually play fantasy games. And they were more into fantasy films like Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings, although Kanzaka, the author, remarks he did not encounter Lord of the Rings until much later in life. So I feel like there's very little Lord of the Rings influence on Slayers. It's drawing from other things that came through Japan.
Definitely things like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, completely. Especially if you look at all of the the weapons and the monsters and how the monsters seemingly act like the ones in D&D in terms of the trolls can regenerate and things like that.
Well, and it sounds like Dragon Quest, was at least a slight influence. I mean, it's not. It's worth mentioning, like Dragon Quest from 86 to 1990, when the book would have been gestating, was like the biggest video game in Japan at that time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's how a lot of people were first introduced to fantasy, or at least that's the most fantasy they got at once, was playing Dragon Quest.
Also, kind of like in Dungeons and Dragons, the Slayers universe is like so lore heavy, and there's so many rules.
Yes, yeah. My favorite stuff is early in the series when Lena is explaining all of the rules. Like, here's how magic works. Here are the different planes of reality.
Yeah, and it sounds like Kanzaka has like so much more plotted out in his mind that he has not put down on paper yet. I think he just loves this world so much. He lives in it so much. A lot of these videos on YouTube, it's just fans asking him about the universe and the characters, and he always has some kind of answer ready to go.
Yeah, it's the reason why Gowry, Lena's companion, is stupid, because he can always ask questions and she can always answer them. And Lena answering the questions is the way for Kanzaka to do these lore dumps, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That feels like the point of that character, even though I do love Gowry.
There's a lot that's like not said, not ever brought up in the anime.
Yes, yeah, that's true. A lot that's just in the books or just in his own brain. So we have not mentioned Dragon Magazine, but that's where these things were published for the first time. But Dragon Magazine, the covers would often feature idols wearing fantasy costumes designed by Yutaka Izubuchi, who is a mecha anime director. And Arizumi was tasked to draw those costume idols for the magazine's letter section. And so this is when they began liking the idea of drawing fantasy characters. So we'll talk more about Dragon soon. But at this point, we need to talk about light novels, which used to be a completely unknown format in the West until they started getting translated within the past decade. Now, they're a huge part of any bookstore's manga section, these light novels.
Hmm.
It's wild how big they've gotten now. Yeah, because I do remember when Slayers was, when I was looking at like the web rings on GeoCities of Slayers back then, that it was just an accepted thing of like, oh, this is based on some books. You'll never read them. They'll never be here. Like you can't read that. Learn Japanese, or because also.
Yes.
Fan translators weren't going to bother translating a full novel compared to, fan subs. It felt.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be lucky if you got translated manga or a translated video game, but translating a novel was a tall order. And it's funny that, like 30 years ago, a light novel could just be called Slayers, and now the light novel will be titled, like, I can't believe I fell asleep and woke up in a fantasy world. My name is Lena Inverse, and I have red hair and a small chest, and my friends are Gowry and Amelia, and we're gonna have a fun adventure together. And it's all on the spine in kanji.
It's a great way of summarizing Slayers.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like recently, especially like a huge percentage of anime series are based on light novels. Back then, I feel like it wasn't as common to adapt a light novel.
No, it didn't seem to be as common of an idea. And like, if Slayers existed today, it would be an isekai where it's like, I woke up in another world and the world would be an MMO they're a part of or something like that. Now they feel like they're all of a very stock kind of format, although those could just be the popular ones we see that get translated here.
Lena would start off as a 50-year-old salaryman
Yes.
in Tokyo.
Yeah, there are a few that start off like that, that actually exist. So yeah, light novels, they now exist in the West, and essentially light novels are genre fiction designed for young adult readers. They're shorter than your average novel, almost always include these illustrations throughout, and I think it's because Japan held onto the idea of the pulp fiction paperback for far longer than the West did, and I want to assume it's because the country did not abandon mass transit in the 50s like America did.
Yeah, and I would guess too, just a general appreciation of like published media there that still continues, that was kind of getting stamped out here, but now, I mean, publishing of books is stronger now than it feels like it was like 15 years ago or 20 years ago.
Yeah, as somebody who buys a lot of old books, I can definitely tell like the eras in which these pulp paperbacks were popular, and it really was the era in which you can take the trolley to your work or take the train before the highway system destroyed everything and you could not actually read while driving without killing yourself.
I want to say another of my favorite anime I watched back then was based on a light novel. That was the only other one I had heard of at the time. That was, I believe, Irresponsible Captain Tyler was a light novel first.
Yeah, that's a light novel too. I don't know if those ever got translated. That's another Slayer style phenomenon where like super hot throughout the mid to late 90s, and now nobody like Tyler. What the fuck is that? I've never heard of this.
At least it's on Blu-ray, and I have it over there.
Is it still in print though? That's the question.
I wonder.
I'm guessing no. If Slayers can't be in print, I don't think Tyler is in print.
Kanzaka is friends with the creator of Sorcerer, Stabber, Orphan. Did you ever
Oh.
watch that?
Yes, I watched all of it because I had to review it for my DVD reviewing job.
Oh, how was that? I never saw it.
It's not that great.
It's to the point where there was even a Slayers / Sorcerer, Stabber, Orphan collaboration thing.
Now, here's the thing. I think the actual title is Sorceress Stabber,
Oh, it's Sorcerer, Stabber?
but not sorceress as in like a female sorcerer. It's just a new word. Like
what? What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure this is correct. All my monitors are consumed by different things I need to look at, but you can look it up yourself, Nina. I think it's a made-up word called sorceress stabber. But yeah,
But it's still spelled the same?
I don't know how it's spelled. I think it's not spelled like the female sorceress, but you can look that up. But yeah, there have been Slayers and Orphan crossovers.
I know Orphan is spelled weird with an E.
Yeah. Are we looking this up now?
Oh, Sorceress as in Sorcerous.
That's it. Yes, that's it. See, I
That's not
it's
a real
because I had to
word.
write
Wow.
6 DVD reviews of this that I know how to spell sorcerer,
I
stabber,
I
orphan.
always thought it was Sorcerer.
No, I think he is a sorcerer. I don't know what's happening in that anime, but where were we? Oh, right, light novels.
Yes.
So yes, there's no thorough history of light novels available in English, though they seemingly came into being in the 1970s when pulp fiction in Japan had already been a thing for a while. And the publication of light novels essentially works the same way as manga does. And to remind you of that, you essentially have your stories serialized in a magazine anthology first, and then those chapters are collected into a book later. So Slayers is published one chapter at a time. These are big chapters. Once 4 are written, they are made into a novel, and they're designed to be 4-chapter stories. A chapter in a Slayers novel is maybe like 40 to 50 pages, so pretty hefty for a chapter.
Yeah. Wow, that's again just like in America, where comic books for the longest time were mainly just superhero monthly things and no anthologies. I mean, like anthology published like prose magazines like that. Just, I mean, I know they exist in America, but they are a niche upon a niche.
Yeah, I think we're down to just a few. Japan held on to this idea for much longer than we did. And now I think there's like the Ellery Queen Mystery Magazine, the Alfred Hitchcock Mystery Magazine, and like one sci-fi one in terms of the ones that have mass publication, not, little outlets that put out 100 copies here and there. These are the ones that still haunt your bookstores. If you look way in the back, you can see these quarterly serialized fiction anthology magazines.
And they always have amazing cover art.
They sometimes do, yeah, in terms of the sci-fi ones for sure.
I was thinking of the Hitchcock ones.
The Hitchcock ones. I don't think I've looked at the Hitchcock ones.
The Hitchcock anthology
Yeah,
books.
I don't know if I've looked at those.
I thought you bought one of them.
No, I bought an Ellery Queen one.
But we did see some Hitchcock ones. He's always on the cover.
Oh, you're thinking of the paperback novels.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about the quarterly magazines that are put out full of serialized fiction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or and short stories too. But yeah, those don't really exist in the West anymore. Good luck finding them, but there's still a few hanging in there. Like I believe the Ellery Queen one is like 80 years old, and I bought a copy of it just for the fun of it before I left Berkeley in a local bookstore.
That is fun.
I didn't finish.
So
it.
much fun.
There were a lot of bad stories in it. That's what you get in an anthology magazine. If
yeah.
you sit down to read it cover to cover, a lot of the stories won't be that good.
It's like when you look through Jump magazine, they're not all winners.
That's true, but it's like a phone book,
Yeah.
so you're getting your money's worth.
You can just throw it away when you're done because it's so cheap.
So this original fiction version of Slayers was serialized in Dragon magazine. And yes, each book is 4 serialized chapters. And if you couldn't tell by the name, Dragon was a serialized fiction magazine that specialized in fantasy stories. And I say was because it just went defunct in May of 2025 after 37 years in print. So Dragon magazine no longer exists.
And it hung in there for so long to made it to this year.
Yeah, actually, when I was in Japan in 2023, I got a copy of Dragon magazine. I'm showing it off to Henry.
Whoa, look at that.
It has
Wow.
Lena and a girl in Lena cosplay. Very good Lena cosplay, I will say.
Yeah, it's good.
On the cover, celebrating some anniversary. And only now, when I pulled it off the shelf, did I realize it was Dragon magazine because the katakana is very hard to read behind 30th anniversary edition.
Although
35th anniversary
it does also
edition.
say Dragon magazine kind of up here.
Oh, well, I didn't look up there. I was trying to look behind the anniversary. So yeah.
It's still shrink wrapped. We gotta peel
But
it
now it's
open.
a collector's item.
Yeah.
Don't you want to know what's inside?
Well, you'll have to read them to me at bedtime. The stories.
the stories of Lena
And then
Inverse.
Lena said, so 37 years in print. I got the 35th anniversary edition there.
That's a
so-
shame because magazines are still selling strong in Japan. So I wonder what happened. I mean,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
they
not-
often have to be paired with other things like tote bags to sell.
Yeah, or like PlayStation, like little zippies.
Yeah,
What would you call that?
A zip pouch.
Zip pouch.
Yeah,
there you go.
Bob got one of those last time we were in Japan.
I call it a zippy.
The two last year when I went to Tokyo, that I did buy a magazine too, and I also bought it because it had Old Man Anime on it. It was a special publication to celebrate that the Hanshin Tigers, the Osaka team, they had won the World Series, and Rumiko Takahashi did like an original cover for it with Lum on it because she wears tiger print like the Tigers. So yeah.
Sometimes when I'm in Japan and I need a tote bag real quick for whatever reason, I will go to the magazine rack.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
basically like it's like how you used to get like a CD-ROM in magazines.
Yeah,
Back in the 90s.
Except you get way cooler stuff.
Yeah. So I mentioned Dragon Magazine no longer exists. Let's talk a bit more about the source material before we move on to the anime. So in total, as of this recording, there are 17 Slayers novels. And Kanzaka initially ended the series in the year 2000 with volume 15, but then he put out volume 16 and 17 in the late 2010s. So it's still a going concern, and he still claims to be writing a new novel, it seems.
Every time he is confronted with this fact on the fan YouTube, he sounds very nervous about it and apologetic. I wonder if he has like writer's block.
Maybe. Does he say, please look forward to it in Japanese?
He doesn't even say that.
Oh, how rude.
See, I wish George R.R. Martin said that every time he was asked to please look forward to it about his books.
Kanzaka has written a lot more than George R.R. Martin. He's a
Oh,
real
yeah.
workhorse.
It sounds like he knows it's been a long time and he's very sorry, but I don't think even he can say when it's gonna be done.
Yeah, and now there's no outlet to serialize it in.
Yeah, I wonder what he's gonna do.
It could just come out as a book, period, without serialization first.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, in terms of what the anime adapts, the events of the first 2 seasons of Slayers adapt the first 8 books kind of faithfully. Season 1 adapts books 1 and 3. Season 2 adapts 2 and 4. Elements from 5, 7, and 8 are thrown into Slayers Next, which is the second season. And then the remaining 2 anime series, which are Try and Revolution, they consist of purely original content, mostly because after book 8, Kanzaka abandons the cast that the anime series focused on that the fans all love. And that was not a conscious decision, like, I want to get away from these anime fans or I want to go my own direction. He had broken off from those characters while the first season of the anime was in production. So I felt like, okay, that arc is over. Time to start with these new characters, not understanding like everybody cares about the characters from the first arc. So he had to write a second arc that was less interesting because people didn't care about Luke and Melina in this new villain. I don't know if you're familiar with any of this, Nina, these other characters.
No, and actually, I don't really care that much.
Yeah, it's why whenever there's Slayers media now, it's always like, okay, it's the core group. It's Lena, it's Gowry, it's Zelgadis, it's Amelia, and it's Zelos. And these are all people from the first 8 books. Now, the only recurring characters from the anime that are in the later books are just Lena and Gowry.
Yeah, I am not a hardcore fan. I just like this cast.
Well, I mean, to put it in D&D terms, it would be like starting your the campaign with nobody else other than yourself. And it's like, but I grew attached to all these. Or also, I guess it reminds me, like in Terry Pratchett's second book in Discworld, he kind of like flushes away the characters in the first one, and then he has to bring people back in the books after that one, I think.
Yeah, I think if Kanzaka knew that everyone would love the other characters so much, he would have stuck with them for the second arc. But he's like, okay, that story's over. I guess they're making an anime? Sure. Time for my new story. And then I'm guessing he probably realized a few books in, like, oh, crap, everybody loves Zelgadis and Amelia, and they're nowhere to be found in any of the later books.
I wonder if Luke and Melina have been animated ever.
I don't think so.
Not even in the Pachinko game?
Maybe in the Pachinko game.
It's very possible.
Maybe.
Because there is a Pachinko game, of course.
Yeah. So the good news is these books are available in English. So Tokyo Pop initially published the first 8 novels from 2004 to 2008. And over a decade later, J Novel Club started publishing their own localized version, digitally and physically, in August of 2020. And as of January of 2023, all 17 novels are finally available in English for the first time. I think at this point, most of them have come out physically, but they're all available digitally. And I really recommend them if you want to understand what the source material is. I don't think it's as good as Discworld, but they are very light and fluffy comedic novels that really explore the lore in a way that the anime didn't have a lot of time to do.
We are blessed to have these localized finally.
I agree. I totally agree. Like, it felt like a miracle when they came out in the early aughts, but then Tokyo Pop, bad things happened to them. And I always wondered, like, what happens after those 8 novels? Now I'm finding out for the first time.
Yeah, we again, like the publishing of these things, for the longest time there's a couple Hayao Miyazaki I wouldn't even call them light novels, but maybe that's the wrong distinction, but they are prose pieces that then have his like artwork on every other page. And despite how big Ghibli films are here, even those weren't published in America, translated until the last 5 years by First Second Press.
Yeah, it's these seem like a hard sell, so I'm glad that J Novel Club picked them up, and I'm sure they have other great stuff worth checking out. I didn't look at their other selections, other localizations. And if you're interested in these books, they're like 120-page books. They go down smoother than like reading a Kurt Vonnegut novel. They're very quick. Like I can read them in 2 sittings, and they're all like, they're not amazing. They feel like a little padded out with these random monster encounters from time to time. But I did really love sinking my teeth into the source material because it was just like this unattainable object for so long as a Slayers fan.
Do they use the same localized terms as the anime?
For the most part, I think with spells and other like proper nouns, they might have better resources to what the creators actually wanted them to be called instead of just being tossed a script and said, okay, figure out what this word means.
Yeah, because there are some pretty crazy names and spell names in the Slayer series.
Yeah. For example, I don't know why the town they go to in this episode is called Mosquita. And I'm like, was that a pun? Is this the localizer like struggling to figure out what this is?
I
Were
think
there notes attached?
They just took like mosquito, the bug.
Yeah, it could be
and
that.
Put a ta at the end to make it sound like a town name.
Yeah,
I think that's all it is.
It could be as simple as that, but I'm like, there's got to be something more. But yeah, like this is an original localization, different than Tokyo Pop one. And currently, all-time great Lena Inverse dub voice actor Lisa Ortiz has narrated the audiobook versions of the first 3 novels. So she's slowly narrating all of those. And we'll talk more about her soon, but at some point I'll play a clip of what she sounds like today. And she really sounds very close to how she sounded 30 years ago when she was doing the voice of Lena as a young woman. So there's actually a lot more Slayers outside of the original 17 novels. There's also over 30 prequel novels, and these ones team up Lena with the absolute fan service creation Naga the Serpent. And the OVAs and movies pull from this content, which is why I really don't care for them, even though they have the best animation you'll see in terms of Slayer stuff. We'll get into it, but Naga is what you think of when you think anime is pornography. It is like a warrior babe dressed in S&M gear. And the point of Naga was to parody the battle bikini, but also it's made for you to get horny and to be into Naga and to buy Naga merchandise. So it's kind of a having your cake and eating it too deal with Naga the Serpent.
But also, I feel like fans generally don't like her at all because she's very annoying.
I don't
right?
like her because she's a one-note character.
Yeah, like that's her only joke is that she has huge boobs.
And she laughs like the classic, like, turning your palm of your hand to the side of the mouth.
the anime noblewoman
Yeah,
laugh.
Yeah.
She's got a famous laugh, and I wish the movies focused on the crew I like and not just Lena and Naga, but you're stuck with Naga for 3 movies, I think, into the 6 OVAs.
Yeah, I didn't know the deal with the movies at first. When they came out in the U.S., I purchased the first one, and I was like, all right, guys, it was, let's all watch it together. I just bought it. And I remember it going over like none of us knew. We didn't know. We thought it was, we definitely were thinking, where are the characters we like? And also it wasn't just that Naga, for me, it wasn't just that she was a fan service one-note character. It also lessened Lena because it took the occasional joke of Lena has smaller breasts than other characters to being the only joke they were giving Lena as well, or one of her few jokes in it. That bugged me too.
That is a recurring joke in Slayers, and honestly, Lena has small breasts for an anime world because I don't want to be skeevy about a teenage character, but I swear she has like C-cup breasts in this world.
Yeah.
They're
She still has some-
fairly like they're proportional for her body size.
Exactly, yeah. I love how like you might look at Naga and think, oh, it's because it's anime, it's perverted, but it turns out she's a parody of Western bikini babes.
Yeah,
in
so
fantasy artwork.
I guess Kanzaka rented a lot of American fantasy movies and was extremely baffled by how evil sorceresses always wore bikinis. So Naga is a parody of that, but again, it is like it's a parody when you're writing that on the page as prose and you see the occasional illustration. But then if you're seeing like hours of Naga content, people are doing more than laughing at the parody. They're like, I like her.
Yeah, but it's cool that the artist Rui also was baffled by bikini women in Western fantasy art, and that's why they make sure all of their characters are fully clothed, all their female characters.
Yeah, and there are so many capes in this. There's so many capes and pauldrons in Slayers. Like everybody's got a cape, everybody's got pauldrons. It's crazy.
Except for Amelia.
I guess Amelia has
has
a
no
cape,
pauldrons.
but yeah, she has no pauldrons. She needs to earn those, but she has a cape.
But she does have big breasts.
She does have big breasts.
So that makes up for
But
lack of pauldrons, I
When,
guess.
when Naga exists in your world, I don't view Amelia's breasts as very big. And yes, we are evaluating the breasts of Slayer's characters at this point.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why
I see.
like Amelia and Naga are related.
Yes, that's true. Although
Yeah.
the creator is cagey about that.
Yes, but everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we still have more history to go through, by the way. We're an hour in. And we should mention Lost Universe. We teased it earlier. This is the less successful light novel series that Kanzaka was writing at the same time as Slayers. So the novels never got localized, but has a pretty terrible anime. And the best thing about it is the dub cast, at least in Japanese, because it's mostly Slayers folks, and you get that Megumi Hiyashibara OP that you crave. But it's so cheap. A listener of the show, I believe they're a patron, Kaiser Beams, has a great video on YouTube if you want to see just how cruddy this anime is. And it's so bad that and so low budget that the opening of the show was not finished for like the first 8 episodes. So there's like an apology baked in to that opening sequence.
Wow.
They were really like running on fumes with Lost Universe. It's a shame because maybe the source material was better. I know the English dub was pretty rancid as someone who tried to watch both the sub and the dub of that one.
And Lost Universe does take place within the Slayers universe, just in the far, far, far future.
Yeah, so there are like some light ties, like the Lord of Nightmares, I think. is like a
Yeah.
featured player or like at least a presence in the world.
It sounds like the Lord Nightmares is a character Kanzaka created like ages ago before even coming up with Slayers. And
It has-
Kanzaka can draw too. And if you go to the fan club website, you can see like the pictures he's drawn of this character
Hmm.
because he used to send out New Year's postcards to fans.
Yeah, it's much better than I was expecting.
Yeah, he's a
from
good
writer.
artist.
Henry, sorry.
Oh no, yeah, it sounds like one of those creators who, like say with Eric Larson, that he created like the Savage Dragon when he was like 12, and the Savage Dragon is still in everything he draws.
Or like Steve Purcell, who stole Sam and Max from his brother at like age 10.
Right.
And for the longest time, Sam and Max were just a way to make fun of his brother's weird drawings. So we could talk about the anime I almost called her Lena. Nina Inverse pulled together a lot of information about the anime based on these Tamiki Yui's Ani Mega Bradio. So this is hard to see. This is why no one can find this.
I know it's a shortening of Anime Mega Brand Radio, Ani Mega Bradio.
And so I can pull some. Nina has a lot of notes. Nina, do you want to read some of these because you wrote them?
Oh yeah, sure.
Please.
I'll give you a break. You've been talking for a while.
There's a lot to go through here, and if you're a Slayers fan, you're going to be eating good after these notes.
Yeah, this could be the first time this info has been released in English, for all we know. So Kanzaka, he's very open to adaptations of his work. He recognizes things that work in text may not work in animation and games, etc. So he'll give suggestions to whoever is adapting Slayers, but he ultimately trusts their judgment and leaves everything up to them. Although he does ask that fans think of the anime as a parallel world, which I'm going to assume means it's a valid adaptation and its own canon, but separate from the novels.
I can see that. There's enough similarities that they do feel like direct adaptations, but different things happen in the anime, like
Yeah.
the episode we're talking about today.
And the artist, Araizumi, agrees and adds it's important to make clear what aspects of the work must be untouched and leave other details up to whoever's leading the adaptation, letting them make whatever changes necessary to fit the medium. So let's get into the production of the anime, the first anime, which was not the TV series, it was a movie. So Kanzaka was told by his editor at least twice that Slayers might get animated, but nothing came out of it. And he wasn't even told who approached them. He's not sure if the same studio kept making offers or if different studios offered. So when talks of an anime happened a third time, he didn't think it would happen until it did. And so the first deal they struck was for an animated film.
Yeah, it was released over here as Slayers, the movie. I think this could have been the one that Henry saw, but
Yeah.
as someone who loved the dub, the big downfall of the movies and OVAs is that ADV, the company, they got that Slayers material, and so Lisa Ortiz was not the Lena Inverse. They got a pretty good voice actor, I believe it was Jessica Calvello, which was their Lena, but everybody loved Lisa Ortiz so much.
Is that the one with the Lena golems?
That's one of...
Or is that the OVA?
I'm not sure because there's 3 movies.
Yeah.
No, the first one, the first movie I got, I think branded as Slayers the movie here. Yeah, it actually was one of the first times I learned about the business of being an American dub actor and how there was, I do remember hearing people online saying like, why isn't this Lisa Ortiz? And they didn't understand that like, well, one, ADV has its own troupe of people that they want to use in Texas who are non-union, and they're not going to pay Lisa Ortiz that they can't do it remotely there. They probably don't want to pay Lisa Ortiz's level, and they don't want to pay to fly her to Texas or fly somebody to Los Angeles and rent studio space.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows if they had the money, but these people were not being paid very well to begin with.
So Kanzaka checked over the script and gave notes, but the editor also gave suggestions. And to the anime studio, it was unclear which notes came from Kanzaka and which came from his editor. And so for the TV series, he made sure the notes were sent directly from him so that there were no editor suggestions.
Cutting out that pesky editor.
Who needs them?
So for the TV series, Kanzaka reiterates that he trusted the anime producer's expertise, so he gave hardly any input. And Araizumi designed characters for the movie, but not season 1 of the show. So that aired without them even getting to see the character model sheets, and had no idea what the characters would look like or that there were new characters. So Araizumi says there was some drama over that, whatever that means. They don't go into details.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Arizumi's drawings, but I'm so accustomed to the anime versions.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why. Maybe if I encountered their drawings first, but whenever I see their drawings of Lena and the other characters, I'm like, this is cool. I enjoy this. But then when I watch the anime, I'm like, well, I'm glad it looks like this while it's animated.
One reason why I like the first season more than the others is how the characters look. I just like the designs more and the color schemes.
Did they get like off model more often, like chibi or like wild takes more often in season 1?
I would say so, yeah. It seems like they had more freedom because the artist was so hands off.
Yeah.
So although Araizumi does acknowledge it was harder to share images back then, so they were
Yeah.
thinking like maybe it wasn't like anything against them. It's just because to make the process more streamlined, maybe they were cut out of that.
Oh yeah, no, that reminds me of Sailor Moon as well, where like the artist, the creator of it, the directors on the show took more liberties with it and got cartoonier or sillier as well, than and away from also the more like line heavy style of her art.
And I like it more.
Yeah, when Sailor Moon Crystal came out, that's like the closer adaptation of the comics. It wasn't as good.
Yeah, I'm glad those men took that woman's work and made it into something good.
So starting from Slayer's Next, which is the second season, they made Araizumi made sure they got to supervise the character art and design the new characters. So from Next onward, Kanzaka supervised the script and Araizumi supervised the designs. And in one of the videos, Kanzaka was asked, "Is there anything about the anime you'd like to change now?" And he said whatever minor notes he may have had while watching the show back then are now forgotten.
Okay, so he's not one of those creators who disowns this anime.
No, overall, it sounds like they have like fond memories of the TV series.
That's good.
That's good.
Well,
Mhm.
I guess getting more involved too helps in that as well, like being able
Yeah.
to
Like, yeah, it sounds like Araizumi was a little hurt by being cut out of the production of the first season, but that was corrected. And it seems like Slayer's Try was when everyone was like super in sync with each other, not just the writer and artist and the studio, but also like the voice actors as well.
Yeah, that's the reason why I really want to rewatch it, because I did remember enjoying it, but I didn't know this behind the scenes detail where they feel like that's their best effort
Hmm
in
And
terms of
isn't
animation.
Try the farthest the material got away from the novel series?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Like I mean, it feels like they are making up new lore just to fuel a story that I'm not sure was ever incorporated back into the novels
Mhm.
with the dragons.
Yeah.
We're in the weeds here, but
Yeah.
speaking very broadly.
yeah.
Now, I wonder when the artist, for this first season, you can see the limitations of the budget. So I do wonder if another reason the creator of the original artist, them not doing the character designs meant that they could design things that could be animated better within the budget they were working with, detail wise, or just, well, if we put a bangle, if we put this little detail on Gallery here, it makes him like cost 10% more or something.
Yeah, I noticed that they hew closer to Arizumi's designs in the movies and OVAs, and she has a lot more lines on her, like almost literally to the point where there's always like hatch marks on her face I guess to show like she's like fired up or she's like full of energy. I guess that's what that's signifying.
Yeah, I like those little touches. You never
Yeah.
see those anymore in anime.
That's true. Yeah, we don't get that
Or
shorthand
not
anymore.
never, but like it's not as common.
Yeah, and now Nina has some information about where these characters came from based on those videos, right?
Yes, and this is all from Kanzaka, the writer himself. So Lena is basically a little sister or clone of a character called Luna in a previous story of his. She was originally supposed to be 12 or 13, but she was aged up a little bit to 15, 16, 17, and made her the protagonist of Slayers. Luna, I've always known her as Lena's older sister that you sometimes hear about, but you never see.
Yeah, she's the only person that Lena is afraid of, and I believe it's in Slayer's Try. There's one shot of her in the background, and there's a note attached that says "Sorry, OP only,"
Yes.
which is like a little inside joke where, and she's like apparently a waitress.
Yes, supposedly she is like Lena is a very powerful character, but Luna is even more powerful. And Kanzaka says Luna will never make an appearance ever, and he considers her like Columbo's wife. Those were his words.
That's so
Or,
funny.
well, how about like Maris?
Yeah,
It's the that's so funny. Columbo's wife is the pull for an unseen character. That's great.
Japan loves Columbo. by
Oh,
the way.
yeah,
They-
yeah.
I saw this episode guide. People are posting pictures online. There's an illustration for every episode of Columbo in this really neat guide
Mm-hmm.
where he's like a little chibi anime character. It's great.
So Kanzaka does not like Mrs. Columbo, the series.
Oh,
I guess.
hello, I'm Mrs. Columbo. It's Kate Mulgrew.
I'm just assuming. Maybe that never made it to Japan. I don't know.
I hope not. I hope not.
So Gaori was originally the last boss of a story Kanzaka had floating around in his head. And Zelgadis, after Zelgadis is not in this episode, unfortunately, he's a major fan favorite character.
The ladies love Zelgadis
Oh, yeah.
because he's a tortured soul, and only you can bring love to his heart, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, he's like a typical emo loner guy. He's a chimera. He's part human, part demon, and part golem. So he's like a blue skinned demon looking guy with like stones all over his skin.
Oh, Henry.
You know, as I recall, what his big thing was, he was always trying to get everybody to be serious, right? Like,
Yes, yeah.
was
He's kind
focused
of like
on
the straight
plot.
man a lot of the time in the
Right.
series.
Yeah, like I said, big fan favorite. After Kanzaka submitted Slayers to a contest, he didn't think he was gonna win, so he started writing a different story where Zelgadis was an enemy demon. And I want to note that I found out through the video that Araizumi designed him completely based on Kitaro of Gegege no Kitaro.
And he is the little creepy boy with hair over one side of his face.
Yeah,
Because
It totally makes sense.
he's hiding his missing eyeball, which is also his father.
Yes.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, his father hangs out. He's an little eyeball man who hangs out on his shoulder, and so he has like a missing eye.
They recently made a new anime of that, and I think it's on Netflix.
There's been so many anime adaptations of Kitaro.
Yeah, I think there was like a very new one, and also they made one of like Devil Boy or something, or like something like that. Something one of that.
Devilman?
artists- Maybe not Devil Man. It's like
Devil Boy.
It's like
no.
Akuma. Kun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in touch with current anime at all. I'm sorry.
Not even the devil based ones.
No. As soon as I found that out, I thought, oh, that totally makes sense though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That hair.
And apparently he loves yokai.
Yeah, both Kanzaka and Araizumi love yokai. On the YouTube channel I mentioned, they also have like yokai quiz battles.
Whoa.
Like basically name that yokai battle.
It's like who's that Pokemon?
Yeah, pretty much. And Amelia, Kanzaka was originally going to introduce a certain other character, which is definitely Naga, but decided she would be too complicated to explain, so she made it her younger sister instead.
That seems to be a very common style of joke in Japanese media, and I can only think of one other example, but I know I've seen it before where I play through the Miles Edgeworth games, and they never mentioned Phoenix Wright to the point where it seems like a joke where Miles Edgeworth is like that man, that certain man. It makes me think of him, and it feels like a very common kind of joke in Japanese media when they don't want to call attention to the obvious thing they're referencing.
Yeah, totally. I wonder where they.
Ano Hito.
I wonder where that started. Yeah,
Ah.
that exactly. But Araizumi heard that she is Naga's little sister, so they drew her based on Naga. They said that Amelia's hairstyle is just Naga's hairstyle, but
Basically.
cut shorter.
I'll take Amelia any day of the week over Naga in
Absolutely.
terms of watching her as a character on the screen.
Okay.
Thank you. That's what
I'm
I
glad.
meant.
I'm glad you
Hey.
clarified. You know, Amelia was another character a lot of people found annoying.
Yeah. She's pretty annoying in her initial appearances, I think.
Hmm
And
I'm
she had a bad
neutral
she had a
about her.
bad first dub voice actor.
Oh, did she?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. That can hurt a character too, like a bad dub.
For this episode, we're on to her real voice, right?
Yeah, Veronica Taylor.
Mhm.
Now, Henry, we were all just sitting in awe of these notes Dina put together. Now it's time to talk about the television business, which is why we're here. So let's talk about the Slayers anime. The first season aired on TV Tokyo between April and September of '95. And if you're wondering where that puts us on the grand anime timeline, it is right before the debut of Evangelion, which was on TV Tokyo in October. Same network.
Wow, man, it's about to take over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles time slot on TV
Yes.
Tokyo.
That's right, dudes. Get ready for Shinji and the rest.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I was thinking about how it probably messed up my head some that in the late 90s, I was so into anime and video games from the first half of the 90s, and that included Evangelion and Slayers in there.
Yeah. I feel like by the time the late '90s rolled around, I was still catching up on all the old '90s anime because it was just starting to come out over here, or it was finishing its run over here. So yeah, that's when Slayers aired in Japan, And when it came to a Western release, it didn't take very long. This is when anime fandom is growing in Japan. We're not quite at DVD boom era yet, but the now defunct Central Park Media started releasing their VHS volumes of the first series in June of '96, and that Slayer's train kept moving until they were out of anime to localize, and then they gave each of the seasons a big box set in the DVD era. And yes, I did own each of those because I couldn't buy all the tapes when I was a jobless high schooler. And weirdly enough, the series is just known as Slayers in Japan, but Central Park Media localized the title as The Slayers, and this could be apocryphal or it could be something people just assume, but I'm guessing there's a copyright thing going on with the band Slayer.
Yeah.
That could be what was happening, which is why the Reddit for Slayers is the word Slayers, but the S is also capitalized at the end, just to let you know, Slayers. If you're here to talk about Slayer, only some people here can help you.
By the way, I resent the anime Demon Slayer now.
Because when you Google,
Yes. Taking over all the Google search results for Slayers.
Lena Inverse was the first Demon Slayer.
And I
Actually,
I really
Jesus
don't.
Christ was the first Demon
I
Slayer.
don't like the title Demon Slayer.
It's too bland. What is the Japanese title, like the demon slaying sword or something?
yeah, Kimetsu no Yaiba,
Is there a good way to localize that?
Demon Slayer slaying sword. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't come here with suggestions for that. I'm just saying.
The demon dagger. Henry,
See-
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, these things, they can't be as clever as Delicious in Dungeon, which I think is a really good. I think I didn't realize what a good pun that was until I think, Nina, maybe I saw you chime in on that on the internet.
Yeah, it was me.
Yes, it was because it's D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I know, because everyone's always like, why is it Delicious in Dungeon? Why not just Delicious Dungeon? And then I realized when I typed it out, I'm like, oh, it's D&D. That's why.
pretty clever.
hmm
They really screwed up with Attack on Titan, though.
Oh, because it's awkward
It's
grammar.
supposed to be Attack of the Titans.
Did they actually mess up?
They did.
with that?
Yeah, it's true.
Wait.
This is not the localizer. This is the Japanese creator
Right.
who
Yeah.
messed it up. Yeah.
Well, so in Dungeon Meshi, that just means dungeon food, right? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah. Dungeon Food is not a good title.
No. Maybe it's better in Japanese.
Dungeon Meshi? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say
probably.
so.
So, yeah, it seems like other companies didn't care because ADV Films released their localizations without the, and the current novels are just called Slayer. So I think whatever concerns they had about the phenomenal band Slayer, I'm sure they're still out there. They have since been resolved. And we'll talk about the various dub actors soon, but the English dub was produced by the NYC-based TAG Productions. Taj, maybe, is what we call them. So TAJ went defunct in 2009 and were mostly famous for dubbing a ton of Pokemon. So for me, when I hear Ash, I'm like, oh, it's Amelia. But when
Yes.
you hear Amelia, you're probably thinking, oh, it's Ash. Well, the Slayers dub got to these actors first. And they also dubbed stuff like Utena and Irresponsible Captain Tyler, which we mentioned earlier. And yes, many Slayers dub actors went on to play major and minor roles on Pokemon. We'll talk about them very soon. So, Henry,
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably were more familiar with these actors from Slayers, having seen it first.
Absolutely, yeah. That was for a very brief period in maybe by the end of the first month of Pokemon being airing in the United States, this changed. But when it first debuted, I remember telling my friends, like, hey guys, I'm taping this in the afternoon, or let's watch this new series Pokemon together in the afternoon. It's anime on TV, and all the voices are Slayer's voices. Mainly it was Brock. Brock was the one I was like, see,
yeah.
that's just the voice. Like,
Brock is not that different from Gowry in terms of his delivery. And yeah, a lot of voice actors are the same. We'll talk about that soon. Now, here is the tragic part of Slayers. Where did Slayers air in America? Well, nowhere. And that's why Slayers is out of print. The end. So with some light editing, this could have been a big Toonami hit. This could have been on Toonami alongside like Tenchi Universe and Outlaw Star and all of those shows, Dragon Ball Z. But the tragic thing is that in 2001, Fox Kids outbid Cartoon Network for the right to air the series in North America. And Lena Inverse, dub voice herself, Lisa Ortiz, confirmed that she was called back to redub certain lines that were too risque for Saturday morning TV. And I'm guessing this is probably the many uses of the word demon, which we once had a problem with. Now all the kids love Demon Slayer. They're talking about demons constantly. We're inviting them into our homes. We're embracing them.
Yes, the term demon was used to localize Mazoku, which literally means evil tribe.
wow.
So demon is not like a perfect translation of it.
I'm more of a fan of Kaizoku.
That's incredible. I don't know if I ever heard that Fox story. Like, if it had, it has way less you'd need to edit than Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball, they kill so many people. There's nudity in it. There's so much more dirty stuff in Dragon Ball. This would have so much less editing, and it would have been a huge hit on Toonami that then became Adult Swim. Like, it would have been a giant hit. I just know it.
Yeah, it's unclear how much of the series was edited for TV, but one thing is clear, Fox Kids never aired any of it. So no idea why, but before this, their heavily edited Saturday morning broadcast of Escaflowne went over very poorly, and it's possible that might have something to do with it. So I don't know why they picked up Escaflowne of all series and then just chopped the hell out of it. But that was their one experiment with a fantasy anime. Maybe they were like, all right, let's cut our losses and just throw Slayers in the garbage.
So I was never an Escaflowne girl.
We have all of it on our bookshelf.
Okay, I saw the first episode. That's it.
What
So
is
they-
with you in these first episodes? Cowboy Bebop, you're like, throw it in the
Eh.
trash. Escaflowne,
I
no
only have so
thanks.
much time on this earth. Okay.
But you didn't back then.
Well, I
Wait,
don't
you
know.
did back then. Sorry, you did back then.
Yeah, but like how did they butcher Escaflowne?
They just they chopped up so much of it for broadcast standards, and they're like combining episodes. It's all been documented online, but it feels like they didn't even bother airing all of it, or if they did, it amounted to like 18 episodes out of a 26 episode run. It was a big, huge failure.
Is it even that risque of a series?
For broadcast standards on Saturday morning in 2001, yes.
I guess for Saturday morning.
Yeah,
it's a
there's
bit
blood.
too
There's
mature.
lots of fights. There's
Characters
romance.
die.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, actually I'm that timing of 01, that was also when a little around the time of Cyber 6, which we covered, which was aired with no problem in Canada where it was co-produced, but Fox aired like 2 episodes and dumped it, like, because Cyber 6
Yeah.
was too dirty.
Yeah, that's like a bit risque. It sounds crazy to think that Slayers is risque because to me it's just like, well, this is baby time in terms of like what was considered like gross, violent anime.
Now we have stuff like Gravity Falls for kids.
Yeah.
I know they had to fight with the censor for stuff in there too, but it's like comparable in terms of risque humor, I guess.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, Slayers, the dub would use a few like dirty words here and there, like damn and hell and stuff, which they could clean up easily. But yeah, it never made it to TV. And I do remember, like, I had watched all of Escaflowne with my anime club, and I would occasionally tune into the Fox Kids version just to see how they butchered it, and it was very bad. And I remember the ads for it; they included the slogan "Go with the flow, Escaflowne up next on Fox Kids."
Right.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So
No.
that's what happened to Escaflowne. It could have happened to Slayers. Maybe we dodged a bullet. Maybe it could be like One Piece, in which One Piece was dead in the West for a long time because it had a terrible dub and a terrible localization that was chopped up for broadcast standards. And a lot of these actors were part of it.
It was. I still remember how crazy it was being in the theater to watch the first Pokemon movie, and then hearing Lisa Ortiz voice like a secondary character in it, and being like, I'm in a movie theater hearing Lena Inverse right here."
Who did she voice again in the Pokemon movie?
I think like the character Drew,
Who?
the Pokemon Snap guy, maybe. Or
Oh,
like
that's
the artist guy? I
Tracy.
don't know.
Is that's
It's Tracy. It's Tracy, right?
She
Yeah,
voiced
that's the-
Tracy.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You have the phone.
I
look
know
it up.
Lisa Ortiz. She usually voiced just like weird side character, or not weird, but like she wasn't Misty
Or Brock.
or Brock,
Well, it'd be
yeah.
funny if she was Brock. So, yeah, undoubtedly this would have been a bigger show if it had aired on television. I mean, like Outlaw Star, it's still in print. There's just one season. If Outlaw Star never aired on Toonami, no one would ever talk about it. It would not be in print. There would have been one run of DVDs in the early aughts. That would have been it. We've been like maybe like Discotheque would put it out as a lost classic, but there'd be no discussion about it. So yeah, I feel like the fact that it had no presence on broadcast or basic cable in the early aughts really killed it in terms of popularity.
I think didn't Outlaw Star have a Hot Springs episode that got censored, and that probably led a lot of people to their first porno sites online as well.
Or their first DVD purchases where you want to see some like near nudity. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there was full nudity in that episode.
Man, Lisa Ortiz, she did a ton of like little characters.
Oh, we'll be
Including
talking about
Pokemon.
her. We'll be talking about it. In fact, I might have who she played in Pokemon later in my notes.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to talk about Slayers a little bit more here. And so Slayers used to be streaming in more places. Currently, it's nowhere. And like I said, go to Internet Archive if you want to watch it, because that's the only place it's available today.
Oh, actually, you mentioned Central Park Media. I believe you can hear on when we did Project A-ko, I did a little history on Central Park Media on that one because that was Project A-ko was their big hit before The Slayers was released.
And the animation studio behind the series is JC Staff, which was formed in '86 by a member of Tatsunoko Productions. And they don't really stand out as an exemplary animation studio, but they've been attached to some good stuff like Utena, Kare Kano, and Azumanga Daioh, all series for old people that I recognized. And unfortunately, this animated adaptation of Slayers comes along as the Japanese economy is at its lowest. And spirits are at their lowest as well. And this is the time that TV anime starts getting very, very cheap. So when you watch this show, you're going to see a lot of the shortcuts you're familiar with, like the postcard memories, the still frames, and other things like that. So when I was a teenager watching this on VHS and DVD, I'm like, wow, this is the best animation I've ever seen in my life. It turns out it was just kind of your run-of-the-mill animation of this era. But the great designs and the very fun drawings make up for it. Like, I love all of the gag drawings in Slayers, and I just posted 4 random screen caps on Blue Sky but while doing research, and people were really reacting super positively. So it's just fun to see all of these very fun drawings in the show.
Kind of like in Sailor Moon, the good thing about a show with spells in it is you can reuse animation.
And they do that a lot with the Dragon Slave in Slayers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And other
or,
spells.
Yeah, other things like Fireball or Flare Arrow
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's not like Sailor Moon where it's always a drive right to the reused animation factory, but they do it enough in Slayers.
It's also much shorter than the Sailor Moon sequences.
That's true, yeah. Although the Sailor Moon sequences are a little prettier, I think, than Dragon Slave.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dragon Slave, like it's big budget for this show's animation, but it can't compare to like even Sailor Moon's first season of budget.
And talking more about the anime, the series director is Takashi Watanabe, who headed up all of the Slayers TV content. He was not the director of this particular episode, but he was the sole credited storyboarder, so he seemed very, very busy. And Watanabe was an animation lifer. He is an animation lifer, still alive. Entered the business at a very early age. His credits date back to the early 70s, and he was a pretty established animation talent by the time Slayers rolled around. But it didn't hurt that he directed a whole lot of the Ys OVA series, which is also very Japanese fantasy drawing from Western RPGs. So Ys, the very long-running RPG series that are I think they're all available at this point on various platforms, and they're still coming out.
So that's like the serious fantasy anime he worked on.
Yeah, like that. I mean, he didn't work on Record of Lodoss War, but I think Record of Lodoss War is like a more serious Slayers. I've actually never seen that. I know it's a big touchstone for 90s anime fantasy. Have you seen that, Nina, Inverse?
No, it always looked boring to me. It looked beautiful, but
Yeah,
boring.
it looked a little like dull and a little too
And
sincere.
I think
maybe.
even my friend Carla was like, yeah, this one's kind of dull. I don't think you'll like this one. Because that one's just like pure serious fantasy.
Yeah, no real twist, no humor,
Mm-mm.
really.
Although it does have very large pauldrons.
Ooh, now you're talking.
You like big shoulders?
I like big shoulders.
How big them pauldrons get?
Baby got pauldrons. So this guy has an incredible amount of credits and is not retired yet. But in terms of shows he had the biggest role on, he was series director on a thing I think only I know about, Boogie Pop Phantom, Rave Master, in the various Shakugan no Shana series. And his most recent role was the chief director on the 2024 12-episode anime series, The Stories of Girls Who Couldn't Be Magicians, which, yes, is based on a light novel, in this case, a Japanese web novel. The titles are getting very long and convoluted at this point.
I always wanted to see Boogie Pop Phantom. Isn't the full title Boogie Pop Phantom Doesn't Smile?
It might be. It's been a very long time, and I think that's super out of print, too.
What is it about exactly?
I think it's like a series of short horror stories, but like the Boogie Pop Phantom features into all of them.
Okay, I know that Boogie Pop Phantom, which I like saying, by the way, is a schoolgirl who puts on this cool purple cloak and then does stuff.
We watched it in my anime club. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
And this was 24 years ago. So Henry, any other thoughts about the animation, Henry, before we move on to voice actors?
No, I mean, yeah, I think they have so much fun with just your screenshots of just the silly faces. Like, there's so much great just cartooning in it. I mean, like in the opening, I love seeing Lena drawn with rubber hose arms basically, and just having to get so much personality out of a low budget. Like, that's the sign of a creative group on this.
Yeah, when it comes to me, I'm easy to impress if you're a cartoon with a lot of original, funny drawings, which is why I love Ren and Stimpy. It's why I love Slayers. It's why I love early Simpsons. And yeah, there's I think it's basically because of their budget, they need to impress you as much as possible with as few drawings as possible. So they're leaning into the wild expressions instead of fluid animation. That's what it feels like to me.
And especially with how hands-off Kanzaka and Araizumi was for the first season, it seems like the studio had a lot of freedom, a lot
Yeah.
of creative freedom and it worked out for the better, I think. And also, like, the voice actors had fun with it too. Like Lina and Gaori fighting, it was usually ad-libbed by the voice actors apparently.
At least in the Japanese version.
In the
right?
Japanese version, yeah, because like the voice actors, they had known each other for such a long time. It just came to them naturally. And the director said a third of Lina and Gaori's exchanges were improvised.
Wow, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's the
Wow.
kind of exchange you get when you record like a radio play, like they do in Japan.
Yeah, you can tell when you listen to the audio too. I mean, we're gonna play the dub. I imagine
We are, yeah.
Yeah, but if you just watch it with subs on, you can hear them
Oh.
like squabbling and talking
Yeah.
over each other.
In fact, you can hear that the audio quality isn't great because they're moving around a lot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and they're having fun. They're really acting. They're not just like standing stock in front of microphones. And now let's talk about the voice actors. And there are some real biggies, and chief among them is Megumi Hayashibara. I was saying that incorrectly the wrong time, so I have to do the Haya. I'm karate chopping in my podcast room, which is 1,000 degrees. And so, yes, if you watched anime in the 90s, likely if you're watching the Japanese version, she was in it because she had major roles in Slayers. In Evangelion, she was Rei. In Cowboy Bebop, she's Faye Valentine. In Pokemon, I believe she is the Japanese version of Jessie, which is either Musashi or Kojiro. I forget which one that is. But she's
Musashi.
Musashi. She's the woman in
Yes.
Team Rocket.
yes.
And
That's the
it's
joke.
funny that in many of these she plays to this very day. Like she's still Musashi, she is still Rei. If they ever make Cowboy Bebop again, I'm sure she will still be Faye Valentine. And if they make Slayers again, I'm sure she'll return as Lena.
Yeah, also she one of her first big breakout roles was girl type Ranma Saotomi in Ranma 1/2, and she got to do she did the voice again. Most of the cast of the original Ranma came back for the new anime adaptation they just did too.
Okay, yeah, I didn't look into that, so she's back for that as well.
Yeah, I had heard because I also watched the Urusei Yatsura one. Was interesting because it almost entirely recast everybody. They have a lot of living actors, but like the original Lum and the original Ataru played the parents of those characters in like, fun cameo roles. But when Ranma came back around, I think all the voice actors were very insistent on like, you better not do this without us.
That's not quite as old as an anime as the Lum show.
Yeah, but Hayashibara, like she was one of the first anime voice actors I knew by name, not just because I heard her in like 3 of my favorite shows, Bebop, Ava, and Ranma, but also I think at the very least in Ava and Ranma, she did music in them. So when I'd get the soundtracks, I would know like, oh, that's one of the credited singers on it is Ranma Girl Type.
Yeah, and she does sing the opening and closing of this series with another singer, so you'll hear that on this podcast. We'll talk more about that soon. And yeah, it's crazy to me. This history segment's going on very long, but it's crazy to me that she was not cast in One Piece when that anime started running. I am so surprised that she is not Nami, because Nami is such a Lena-style character. Maybe they thought that was too obvious, but I think Hayashibara has done a few like minor roles in One Piece, but the fact that she's not part of the core cast is astounding to me.
She usually does like strong female characters, usually
Yeah.
spunky ones. She also did Catgirl, Nuku Nuku, and Lime and Saber Marionette J. Those are that's another big role. So when she was Rei in Evangelion or Jellion, I always get this wrong.
Evangelion.
Evangelion.
Yeah.
When she was Rei in Evangelion, that she was playing out of type.
Henry's showing you the katakana.
Okay.
In case you need it.
Evangelion, got it.
Yeah, that's against type. It's her like
Yeah.
playing this like breathy waif.
I was surprised when I found out that she voices Rei of all characters.
You think she'd be Asuka? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Asuka is definitely her type.
That's that's Ano. I think she said in some interviews like Ano specifically did it to go against type for her, like
Oh,
and to
okay.
surprise people.
And she's still doing it. And yes, her voice acting autobiography, it's called The Characters Taught Me Everything. It's actually available in English, and I have not purchased it or read it, but I am very curious. I'm sure it's going to be very light and fluffy, but I do want to know, like, who is this woman I've been listening to for the past, like, 30 plus years of my life, maybe 30 years of my life.
I didn't read the Slayer section. I did read the Ranma and Rei section of it, and yeah, it's fun little stories, but it's not like an American tell-all or anything.
Yeah. So even in this early lawless era for dubbing, they somehow found the perfect voice actor in English to voice Lena. Now, Hayashi Bara is great, but this is one of the times in dub history where I'll say the dub actor can stand alongside the Japanese performance, and that is Lisa Ortiz. Now, weirdly, Ortiz did not get a role in Pokemon as one of the main characters, sort of like how Hayashi Bara did not get a role in One Piece as a main character, but she's played a few roles on the show. And like many actors from her generation, she's also directing voiceover sessions. She's been doing this for Pokemon since 2016, so I guess they're keeping it in the family. And yes, as I said before, she still plays Lena in verse, and on the audiobooks at least. So I have a clip of one of the audiobooks ready to go. And Henry, can you play that clip of just what Lisa Ortiz sounds like in 2023? This is a clip, I believe, from the first book.
Chapter 3. Bad news! They caught me! Pretty sad, I know. I woke up somewhere completely unfamiliar. It looked like a room in some old abandoned church. The stained glass windows were so smashed up that I couldn't even tell what old legend they were supposed to be depicting, and the dingy walls were lined with statues of old, long-forgotten holy figures. I briefly wondered if this might be karma in action for me, but I brushed the thought aside.
So that is what she sounds like today, and I watched a lot of the dub for this podcast, and what I like about her performance that might give it the edge over Hayashi Bara's performance, although I really love hers, is that her voice is not as cutesy, and there's sort of like a New Yorker lilt to it, because I assume she is from the New York area, given where they recorded this, that gives her a kind of more of a tough girl edge.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing her. And I like that she has like the perfect amount of squeakiness to her voice that is vital for playing like an anime girl character.
I don't know where she came from, but this is only her second role, but I think she is the strongest performer in all of the Slayers dub stuff. I mean, the first half of this dub is not that great. They do recast some people. She stays around, but I think she outdoes everybody throughout the course of this dub.
And I think the only other person who could play Lena Inverse is Kristen Shaw.
That's true, yeah. If they were willing to go that high
Yes.
of a budget.
Yeah, she has the right energy for it.
Yeah,
I guess Tina, is it Tina from, or is it Louise?
Louise.
Louise from Bob's Burgers is kind of a Lena Inverse character.
Yeah, exactly.
Henry, sorry.
No, I was agreeing. Yes, yeah. The Louise is so Lena. I think too it helps that Lisa Ortiz. Well, I'm not surprised she went on to do a lot of voice directing, because her being the best actor in this shows her skills of like probably she's voice directing herself, and that everybody else most of the other actors aren't as good in the first part of it until they do some recasting, because they're not as good. They were probably not getting good direction and couldn't compensate for it with like Lisa can with her skills.
Yeah, and she's very online. She loves being Lena. She's appearing at cons. She's directing a lot. So she's very available in terms of you want to get in touch with her. You want to ask her questions about Lena. She loves being part of the community and being such a part of this anime dub history. So that is Lisa Ortiz. And in terms of other actors on the show, we have Yasunori Matsumoto as Gaori. Relation? No?
None.
No. Matsumoto turns out to be a very common last name, right?
It is, yeah. It's like in the top 20.
And even though he's been a voice actor for nearly 40 years, this is really his most prominent role. And his recurring roles are really few and far between. So it seems like he is the voiceover equivalent of a character actor. But Matsumoto has 347 roles to date. So it sounds like this really works out for him. It sounds like he's not hurting for voice acting roles, despite not getting these meaty recurring character parts.
It sounds like it's a living for sure. Man, that's I was surprised. I didn't recognize his voice. I didn't look other than Hayashi Bara. I didn't know many of the other Japanese actors in this. So I was assuming somebody had to have gone on to other big fame than just her.
Yeah, I was like super into Japanese voice actor culture when I was in high school. There's like huge fan communities for voice actors in Japan, by the way. There's even like magazines dedicated to them. I don't know if they're still around, but it's totally from here, where like in cartoons here, often you don't even know who plays who, and like they're not listed in the credits, or they were not for a long time.
My issue of Jim Cummings Weekly just showed up.
Like now, voice actors are properly credited, but back then not so much, right? and often you don't even know like what the voice actors look like. In Japan, they basically become like idols, and they'll like release like song albums and like make appearances and
Yeah,
have, like photo shoots.
there's
and
a whole
stuff.
pipeline built for that role.
Yes, yes, they become like huge celebrities. And even then, I never really saw much Yasunori Matsumoto stuff. Like it's why do I say his name differently with mine? I say
I don't know.
I say
What?
Matsumoto, but I say
Ah.
Yasunori Matsumoto.
I'm Nina Matsumoto. I'll take some pasta.
It's because he's more Japanese than me.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, like he doesn't have very many big roles, like you mentioned. It's weird, but he is great as Gary.
And of course, his dub actor is the great Eric Stewart, and his voice would be heard by many more people when he would go on to play Brock and James in the Pokemon dub, and also Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course, Henry and we did a whole episode about the Pokemon Christmas album, and he's having a lot of fun as James.
Yes, yeah, he is that is why I liked hearing from Nina that you can hear the Japanese Gowry and Lena playing around with each other, because I do feel like a big thing that pulled me in was Ortiz and Stewart. I do think have very good chemistry together, and it feels like they're playing around as much as they can in the structure of the dub script they're given.
Yeah, or at least they can play off of a pre-recorded line from another actor if they're not
Mhm.
recording together.
Yeah, and these are not easy roles to dub over because they have to do a lot of fast talking.
So our third principal character is Amelia, and she is voiced by Masami Suzuki, who started voice acting in '93. And this was a very early role for her. In a notable early role, though, she played the lead in the magical girl show Azukin Cha-Cha, which was sort of a Little Red Riding Hood magical girl, right?
It's Akazukin Cha-Cha.
Oh, how did I write this?
It's Akazukin Cha-Cha.
So it's hard to say is what you're saying.
I was looking at your notes at the same time.
I see.
No, I loved Akazukin Cha-Cha. The comic book series, though, not the anime. The
I
anime
see.
makes some weird changes. They turn her into a magical girl. She's not a magical girl in the comics.
I see. Well, I'm sure she did a good job as a voice actor, right?
I don't remember, actually.
Well, I'm sure she sounded a lot like Amelia in that role.
Yeah, probably.
And yeah, like the Gowry voice actor Matsumoto, she does character actor work, although she's less prolific because she only has like 64 roles total, so she's not like a major voice actor.
Hmm.
But her English dub actress is none other than Ash Ketchum herself, Veronica Taylor. So Veronica Taylor played Ash for the first 8 seasons of the dub, and she's done far too much to speak of here, but she got to play April O'Neil in the 2003 iteration of TMNT, so that was one of her major non-anime dubbing roles. So we all know and love Veronica Taylor, and like Lisa Ortiz, she has really sunk her teeth into like, I love being an anime voice actor, I loved being Amelia, I loved being Ash, etc., etc.
When I looked around a little on YouTube for like interviews with people, it definitely seems like obviously Veronica Taylor, when she's going to do a panel, every adult who's there is a Pokemon kid, and they're going to ask Pokemon questions. It seems like any Slayer's questions are limited.
I'll be the Weird Slayer's adult to be like, what was it like to be Amelia? What did it feel like to be in her skin?
You're 5 to 10 years older than the younger millennials around there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't answer Amelia questions anymore. Thank you.
You don't want to be the creepy old man who's obsessed with Amelia.
Yeah, I've heard that's a thing. So, yes, the other characters in this episode are minor enough that we don't need to go over their individual voice actors in the Japanese version, but we can cover who dubbed them in the English language version because they're worth mentioning. A few of them have passed on, and a few would end up playing much more prominent roles later in the series and in Pokemon. So, playing Brumagun and Mr. Rosberg is Jimmy Zopp, real name James Carter Cathcart. He just passed away this past July at age 71. He's got a ton of dub roles, but he's mostly known for playing Gary on Pokemon, and then James and Meowth when this dub cast mostly changed. So it seems like he was playing Meowth for nearly 20 years after the initial dub cast changed over to their current roles. I'm sure it's changed since then as well. I fell off of Pokemon after like year 3.
I think there's the numbers are different from character to character. I think there's only been like 2 Ashes, but yeah, for Meowth, He was certainly a lot of Meowth. It's sad. I always remember like Maddie Blaustein was one of the first. I think the first Meowth, a famous trans actress that in voice acting back then.
Yeah, she has passed away as well. But we covered a lot of Maddie's work with that Pokemon Christmas Bash album, including the Meowth, I've got nothing for Christmas song or whatever the hell that was. It's a little stinker Christmas song. It was good.
Nuttin' for Christmas.
Yeah, nuttin'.
I feel for Cathcart in this episode because his character Vrumgum,
Vroomigan sucks. I'm sorry.
Vroomigan.
He's not a very good character.
No, he's just a whispery wizard guy. But this Mr. Rosberg guy doing this I'm a director.
Yes,
that kind of voice.
acting. I feel like he's doing the Love It's acting character.
Absolutely. And yeah, like a whole lot of drama went down 20 years ago when the Pokemon dub cast changed, and ultimately it sounds like Pokemon USA wanted to make a cheaper dub, and they wanted to eliminate the 4Kids cast and recast everybody, which is a crappy move, but guess what? It worked. People still watch the show, so in the end, evil won.
It's hard to get more evil than 4Kids, but
yeah, they found a way. But yeah, I forgot how much drama there was about this dub cast changeover, and I was reading like all the initial message board posts from all the original actors, and it seems like a lot of them were taken by surprise. Like I thought I was going to still be voicing Ash, and then I find out they're dubbing it now, and I'm not Ash anymore. What's going on?
Yeah, I think that's why it's interesting. Lisa Ortiz is still seems like she's still, or very recently, still doing the voice direction. So it seemed like they retained some people. It does seem like the change was just some actors are cheaper than others.
Yeah.
I wasn't even a huge Pokemon watcher back then, but even I was upset by this voice cast change. Like, what a bunch of cheapskates.
Yeah, we love these voices.
Yeah. I liked the voice cast for Pokemon because I knew the voice actors, a lot of the voice actors from Slayers and other anime.
Well, and also the actors already were not union. I don't think they were being paid particularly awesome in the first place.
But I guess they had tenure and gradual raises over time that they didn't want to honor after a certain point. But yeah, you can read about all that online. It's thoroughly documented. And Rachel Lillis is not in this episode, but I did want to mention her because she plays roles here and there throughout the first season. She plays a major character in season 2. And yes, she was Misty, Jessie, and Jigglypuff in the initial Pokemon dub, and she just passed away at 55 this past summer. Really tragic, and she's got a great voice, too.
Yeah, she was great as Martina. I love Martina in Slayers Next.
Martina's a great, insane character.
Yes, she's one of my favorites.
And that's the original anime character.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, people love Jesse and James for acting like Lilith and that Stewart did together. Like that. That's why people love those characters in the U.S. anyway, and that's it's really too bad.
And I promise you, the history's almost over. We're about to hit 2 hours in our recording, at least. But I do want to call it Crispin Freeman because he plays actor A in this.
And based on his performance, you might not think he's a great actor.
But he actually would go on to voice Zelgadis in the second half of the series. And Crispin Freeman, if you're familiar with old dubs, he was Irresponsible Captain Tyler in that dub, and he does a lot of directing, but he is now a legendary dub actor. But it all starts here at Slayers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my friend and I made fun of the first dub voice for Zelgadis so much. It was like a running joke between us.
Yeah, Zelgadis, he was good at doing breathy, mysterious, but then he'd be like, "What are you doing? No, stop! Oh no!"
Yeah, whenever it called for any kind of emotion, he's kind of like Keanu Reeves, basically.
He seems like a guy who is too shy to emote.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he's embarrassed to be like, "I'm gonna kill you."
I understand.
Now I sound more like Gowry. Hey, Lena.
I understand it could be embarrassing to do some of the spells like freeze, arrow, yelling stuff like that, but. Come on, you gotta give it a bit more than what this guy gave.
You're getting paid $20 to dub this anime. Now get to work. So that is really it for the history. Nina, I want to give you a chance to weigh in on some of these other voice actors like Hikaru Midorikawa and Akira Ishida.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but the Japanese voice actors in this is amazing cast. It's all the top voice actors of this era of anime. So Hikaru Midorikawa, he has a distinctive nasally voice. He did Zelgadis, who is not, like I said, not in this episode, unfortunately. He has a lot of famous anime roles. I can't list them all, but Some of the major ones are Hiro in Gundam Wing, Tamahome in Fushigi Yugi, and Rukawa in Slam Dunk. And in video games, he's done Rantaro in Danganronpa V3, Marth in the Fire Emblem series, and Sanada in Persona 3.
And this is
Whoa.
Midori Kawa?
Yes, Zelgada's
And
his voice actor.
He has a very nasal voice.
Yes.
A very, very unique voice, too.
Yeah, if he even just utters as a character, I immediately know who it is. Like, he plays the main guy in Xenogears,
Mm.
like in the anime cutscenes. Even though I don't think he has any lines, but he'll like scream and grunt
Just
and
by
stuff.
grunting, you can
Yes,
hear.
I was like, oh, it's Midori Hikawa.
You can sense his
Hikaru
nasal
Midorikawa.
passages.
Yes.
Man, so,
In those utterances.
so then is he Marth then in the Smash Brothers then, I would guess too, right?
They probably retain the voice, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. I'm thinking of Marth's grunts right now, and they are very nasal.
And Takehito Koyasu, he is like my favorite Japanese voice actor of all time. He voices Rezo, my favorite character in Slayers, the villain who is not in this episode.
No, they're heading to Rezo.
Mhm.
They're heading to Rezo.
This is in
town.
between Rezos.
Yeah.
There are two Rezos in this. There's Rezo and Copy Rezo.
It's bookended by Rezos.
Yes. We're in the non-Rezo episode. He has a deep, gentle, elegant, and almost feminine voice, so he often plays like very elegant, beautiful male villains. Some famous anime roles are Zex in Gundam Wing, Hotohori in Fushigi Yugi, and a bit more recently, Dio in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Hmm, very nice.
Oh, hell yeah. His Dio rules. I love like that. That's the role you give to your best guy is Dio. Like Dio is Dio's the guy everybody loves in JoJo.
And he's the villain, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
He's friggin' David Bowie, the coolest, like the bisexual badass villain. Like, I love him.
Yeah, Koyasu is good at playing like really crazy characters and doing like a maniacal laugh, which I imagine he does a lot as Dio.
Absolutely, yeah. No, Dio's the best. Actually, JoJo, which I only watched in Japanese because I was watching it simulcast and it wasn't simuldubbed. The dubcast I've seen in several JoJos have very good English dubbers, but yeah, it has a great cast in general in JoJo. But Dio's voice actor is so good.
And Ishida Akira, who does the voice of Zelos, who is not in this season, but is in Slayer's Next and Try. And he's another huge fan favorite character, kind of like he's not quite a villain, not quite a hero. He's like the mysterious guy who is like the Loki of
like a
Slayers.
trickster.
Yeah.
And I can pick out his voice whenever I hear it. In
Oh, really?
Japanese, Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of video games. He's also kind of like Koyasu in that he has like a soft voice, but it's not as deep. In terms of anime, he's done Gaara in Naruto. And he did a lot of other things, but again, too numerous to list. In Danganronpa, he plays Byakuya. He does
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he does the protagonist in Persona 3. And he's actually done a lot of Japanese voice track work for English movies and TV shows. Like, he did the Riddler in The Batman. So he's Paul Dano.
He's
And
kind of like Zelos.
yeah, and Wesley Crusher in Star Trek.
Okay, I can see that. Maybe.
Now I need to see-
Actually, the voice is too cool for Wesley Crusher. Sorry, Henry.
Yeah.
Well, now I need to see a Zelos meme of Does He Know? I need to see that.
And that is it really for the history. A 2-hour mega history of Slayers, just the first damn season. Does anyone else have anything to say before we go into the episode discussion?
Yes, one more fun tidbit I learned from the YouTube channel. I tried to segue into this earlier, but we had to keep going. This is how Kanzaka names his characters. He says he just mangles existing words. Like, for example, there's a character named Halciform in Slayer's Next. He's like a villain, I think. He just took the Falchion sword and just kind of mixed up some of the letters in Japanese to call him Halciform. The spell Geogaya, he just took Georgia coffee and
Cut out
mangled
the
it.
R? Cut out the R?
It just made it sound like a cool spell.
Yeah.
Geogaya. It's like a earth spell, right? But it just
Yeah.
came from Georgia coffee.
Hey, I love Rumagan and Zangelis.
I wanna know where those
are
came
really
from.
good names.
But also Seagrim. Do you know where that came from? Can you
Oh,
guess?
the ginger ale?
Seagrim, yeah.
Yeah, the
Seagrim-
Seagrim, right?
Liquor brand.
Oh, liquor. It's
Yeah.
like wine cooler or whatever.
They do various kinds of
Okay.
spirits.
Wow.
So I really want to know where Rumagan, Zangelis, Zelgadis, Rezo,
Well,
all this other stuff came from.
he's got a YouTube channel with 100 views.
I will submit a question actually.
You
You
can
know
do it
what?
in Japanese.
Yeah, the YouTube channel is like still very active to this day. The blog is the fan club blog is active. You can send Kanzaka questions about anything, and no matter how stupid the question is, like I've seen questions like, where does Lena wash her clothes?
The river.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
He will answer them.
Interesting.
Wow.
So yeah, thank you, Nina Inverse, for that information.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Man, they need to, I've been sitting on this joke for a while, but they should rename it to like ours is Talking Simpsons. They should call it like Slayer's Hanashimas, right?
Would that work? Would that work?
Katarimas.
Katarimas.
There's different ways to say talk in Japanese depending on like the context.
Hmm.
Duolingo has only taught me one, so okay.
Sleazu Katarimas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that surprised me. So this is super nerdy, but the last katakana in Slayers is zu and not su. Sleazu.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting.
It is
Slayers.
always a zoo when it's a plural s, like
Oh, really?
like
Okay.
in Simpsons, it's
Simson-
Shimsonzu.
Shimsonzu.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. Now
I
we're
s-
turning into Duolingo. Henry.
No, yeah, I saw because I was just watching an episode with the couch gag is the Simpsons written in katakana. It's the anime one, and yeah, I was like, oh, it's zoo. It's same with in Japan. It's called Furenzu, not Tomodachi, the friends.
Yeah, and
It should be Tomodachi.
in Undertale Sans is Sanzu.
But that is it for the history of Slayers. We're going to cast some freeze arrow in this room right now and then come back to talk about episode 16. And we'll see you on the other side of the break. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the break for this month's episode of What a Cartoon About Slayers. I'm one of your hosts, Bob Mackey, and where treasure glitters, I'm there to claim it. Who else is here with me today, as always?
You can tell I'm a bad boy because I have little cat teeth when I smile. Henry Gilbert.
That's very true. And yes, we hope you're enjoying our very, very, very long Slayers episode. And if you want to give a little back to us for putting together such a long episode and get a ton of stuff in return, why, you just need to head on over to patreon.com/TalkingSimpsons and sign up for that $5 level. You'll unlock all the podcasts we do ad-free. You'll get them all 1 week ahead of time, and you'll also access over 200 miniseries episodes covering things like Futurama and King of the Hill, Batman the Animated Series, The Critic, and Mission Hill. And of course, for that $5 a month, you also get a new episode of both Talking of the Hill and Talking Futurama every month. It's a great deal. It's only $5 a month, and it's all happening at patreon.com/TalkingSimpsons. And there's also a $10 level. Henry, what is on that $10 level? I know you get the $5 stuff, but there's also one very, very large podcast you get on top of that every month.
Man, oh man, is it big. It's like you're getting 3 extra podcasts each month for $10, and that is our What a Cartoon movie podcast. You get to hear the previews for it every month if you're listening to What a Cartoon on the free feed. But you can only hear us talk for 5-6 hours even sometimes about movies like this month you're going to hear us talk about The Lego Movie, a very important film in American animation history lately, as well as a pretty great movie too. And the previous summer, we just did our Disney 2000 celebration of a very interesting time in Disney feature animation. And we've been doing this for many years on What a Cartoon Movie. And if you liked all the anime talk in this one, I know you're going to love some of our deeper anime cuts in there. We've covered multiple Studio Ghibli films like Kiki's Delivery Service and Whisper of the Heart. We've covered Cowboy Bebop the movie. We've done Millennium Actress in Tokyo, Godfathers, and Project A-ko, which has a lot in common with this series too. You can learn so many things if you listen to our super in-depth historical podcast. So sign up today for over 200 hours of additional podcasts on top of all of the ad-free exclusives that Bob was just telling you about at patreon.com/TalkingSimpsons.
And signing up for a Patreon account is very easy, and once you do, you can listen to all of our bonus podcasts the same way you listen to all of your regular podcasts as part of your podcasting lifestyle. And of course, Patreon has an app for any smart device you might have, so you can listen to all of our bonus stuff that way. But no matter which way you do it, it's very easy to access all the content waiting for you behind the paywall at patreon.com/TalkingSimpsons. And that is it for this little ad break. Now it's time for us to continue discussing the anime series that's worth its weight in VHS tapes, Slayers.
Life just got a little hotter for the indomitable Lena Inverse. The greatest sorceress in the universe is about to meet her match. At least when it comes to appetite.
Who are you? Oh! My, aren't we good at pretending? You are such a silly little girl. I am your greatest, most peerless rival. It is I.
Will this partnership turn out to be Lena's worst nightmare? Or is this the beginning of something excellent?
Welcome back. We are now fully refreshed after that very long history segment recorded in a very hot room in late August. Thank you for sticking with us. And I did want to cover the story so far, in case you're wondering, like, where are we in Slayers? Well, I chose a filler episode as on purpose because you don't really need to know about the journey they're on or what they need to do, because it's more about them being stranded in a situation and really gives a chance for all the characters to shine. But if you want to know what's going on, they're between arcs in this first season, and all you need to know is that our crew is headed to the city of Cyrag from the city of Seirun to find out who put a bounty on them, and of course, they're pursued by these two bounty hunters the entire way.
And this part is pure anime filler, right?
Yes. But the filler in Slayers is always some of the funnest stuff you'll see in the show.
Oh,
right?
for sure, yeah.
And there's always a cross-dressing episode in every season, right?
Yes. They have a lot of self-contained episodes that
Yeah, I was
still
gonna
follow
say
like the larger story, but you can just watch on its own. It's fine. Like this one.
It's funny. This is like sandwiched between. I consider the episode that precedes this is almost a cross-dressing episode in that it's like Lena puts on a dress. Like so, it's like two characters who never wear dresses wear dresses.
I think it is the cross-dressing one because don't they dress up Gowry as a woman?
No, that's in the next one.
That's the next one. Okay.
Yeah. No, I like the Lena pretending to be a bride or having to pretend to be a bride episode, because you're right. She is kind of like a tomboy, and her wearing like a very frilly dress is totally out of character for her.
It's crazy.
And they play off of that.
Yeah, it's about gender roles. I forgot about that episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, some other behind-the-scenes stuff. We've covered a lot of it so far, but specific to this episode, the director is Makoto Sokuza, who directed 2 other episodes of Slayers in this season. At the time, he was a fairly new director, and he's still directing today on semi-recent things like Beastars and the second season of One Punch Man. So these people who work on Slayers, they never really left the JC staff environment. They're still with that company animating stuff.
That with kids today, anime filler has a bad name or gets a bad rap. But the episodes like this show what can be great if you have a good staff who can make up stuff.
Yeah, I think the problem is anime filler now will take an entire year to resolve. In a lot of cases, like One Piece, or in the past, like Naruto, it's like, God, we're still in the filler arc and there's 6 more months left. Yeah. But here it's just like, oh, it was a month of filler. And I assume most people did not even read the novels.
I wonder if these days, like, anime shows can't get away with the filler the same. Like, even, well, I only base this on, One Piece is the most current anime I really stay up with. But, like, I watched all of Delicious in Dungeon, and it just took time off to finish the season. But, like, One Piece now, in the last couple of years, they just reanimated the first post time skip storyline instead of making up filler to cover stuff.
Yeah, I guess technically One Piece is on hiatus, but I've heard that they just re-edited the Fishman Island arc to be a little more concise than it was. Is that correct?
Yeah, that basically covered a few months for them to reset and get back to the current Egghead arc on the anime.
And it was the first time One Piece ever went on hiatus. Period.
Yeah, it was chaos. Chaos. They went on hiatus for the first time ever.
Well, I'm glad they found writers that could keep capturing the spirit that Kanzaki has for this series instead of having Lena charge up her famous dragon slave attack for like 6 episodes.
She's still charging her attack. What do we do?
That's my Gowry impression.
Oh, that's Gowry. Okay.
Yeah, who do you think it was?
I don't know.
You might hear it a lot. It's fun to do the voice of Gowry and Brock.
He should sound dopier than that.
I'm
That sounds too
stupid.
cool.
How do I breathe, Lena?
You almost sound like Brock, actually.
I mean, the voices are very
I know.
similar.
I know, but Gowry is a himbo. He's a classic himbo.
Lisa, Lisa? Who's that?
What? I should say Gowry was a himbo before the term himbo
That's
was even a
true.
thing.
I was going to say,
Lena, I tried eating food with my butt. It didn't work.
I can't do it that often. I'm sorry. It hurts my voice.
No, Brock is a much hornier character than Gowry, right? Gowry rarely seems interested in anybody.
Yeah, Gowry is too stupid to be horny.
Well,
And
he's
Lena
not,
is too greedy to be horny.
no, she's too flat for him.
That's also
She's
true.
too flat and too short. He even says so in the beginning.
We never see Gowry like being into a woman, right?
No, never.
Yeah, he's too stupid, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or too focused on swordplay.
In the first episode, Gowry does a joke about like, oh, she's too flat, but then he seems to stop thinking of any woman as a sexually desirable. I felt like.
Yeah, and I guess there's like some like little tiny teases of, oh, will Lena and Gowry ever get together? But they're quickly dismissed. I think they're teases making fun of teases. It's like a parody of like the will they won't they.
Until Slayer's next.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it in case someone wants to get into the series, but there is more romance.
Yeah, I guess
in
you're
Slayer's
right.
next.
I did forget about that element
Yeah.
of it. So yeah, we entered this discussion segment with a clip of the season 1 opening song "Get Along," and yes, Megumi Hayashibara sings on this track, but she's joined by Masumi Okui, and the same goes for the ending song. So Masami was another actress and singer of the era, and she does, I think, Slayers and Slayers Next duets with Megumi, but then I think it's just Megumi alone afterwards.
Mm-hmm. I love all the openings and ending themes of Slayers, not just the anime, but also for the video games and drama CDs.
Yes, last night you showed me Touch Yourself.
Yes, I did.
Now explain what that means.
It just means touch yourself.
Okay. The song is called Touch Yourself.
Yeah, and they do say in English, touch yourself in the chorus.
Yeah.
But they don't mean that way. That was for the PlayStation game.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we're
Slayers
all...
Royal.
Yeah, we're
is
all
what it's
fans
called.
of anime of this era, and there's nothing better than when an anime sneaks in a very awkward English phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one I'm thinking of is the one from the series everyone's forgot about, Nadesco, but the opening was called "You Get to Burning."
The only thing I know about that anime series is the opening.
Yeah, and Captain Tyler, the English lyric is like, "Come together, let's think of tomorrow." Is that it?
Yeah. Come together, just think of tomorrow. Yeah.
Also, everything by Tumix, like the
Oh,
Gundam
yeah.
Wing opening, just Wild Beat Communication.
That sounds right. Yeah.
No, or also like for Dragon Ball, just screaming like "sparking," like just like that was so much fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the Berserk opening.
Oh, that's all
It's all in English. Yeah,
that's that's the one OP I can do at
It's
karaoke.
terrible.
Put your grasses on, nothing will be won. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, something like that.
I would sing it in my car badly all the time. It's a fun song to sing poorly because it is kind of like a punk song as well.
And Bob and I tried to do the opening of this. What's
Give a
it called?
reason? Oh no, sorry. Get along.
Get Along.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep forgetting.
I
In karaoke once, and he could not keep up with me.
No, it's hard to understand how to sing in Japanese.
Yeah, I understand.
Because it's like you see a ton of syllables. You're like, where are things stressed? When are things held?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how does this fit into the melody I know?
Yeah, I even though I keep forgetting the title for some reason, I do love this song so much. It is my favorite Slayer's opening.
Yeah, whenever it starts, I'm like, oh, this is the one I don't like as much. But then I get way into it. I don't
That's
know if you've
amazing.
heard the other Slayer songs, Henry.
It's been a minute since I heard him, but I do love this one. I looked up like Oki did like the opening to Revolutionary Girl Utena, which is another. I really like that opening too.
Yeah, I read that she did that. She did a lot of OPs of this era and other songs as well. And she's got like a deeper voice than Hayashibara, so they really pair well together.
Well, that's why I like this opening and ending for the first season of Slayers, because I have a deep voice and I can't sing very high, and I can actually sing these songs. Although it does get very high at parts. She has a very good range.
I think so. Yeah, I do love this song. I was listening to it on my walk today, and I was like, man, this song rules.
It gets you pumped.
If you listen to the full version, there's like a killer like 80s heavy metal guitar
Oh yeah.
solo in the middle. And I love that they were still doing this in 1995.
I had all the Slayers CDs. I listened to these songs over and over.
I did see that like the record label for this was King/Starchild, which I know pretty well from they were a big investor in Evangelion, so it's the same. Maybe Hayashibara had a like contract with them because she does songs for Evangelion as well in the same year.
Oh yeah, it's funny that she doesn't sing the opening of Evangelion.
Did she sing the ending?
Many people sing the end, Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh,
There's like a billion remixes. Is there a new remix for every version of that, Henry, in every episode?
I believe it is every episode. If not,
Yeah.
it's like at least 2/3 of it is a new one, and she definitely does some of them, and she still does. She did songs in Rebuild, like she still does songs for the series.
But you can't hear Fly Me to the Moon on Netflix because Bart Howard's estate wants a lot of money. That old bastard. Well, yeah, so in very serialized 90s anime fashion, we start with a little recap about what happened in the last episode. And I like that it's not just reused clips. You also get original Lena dialogue. And like the novels, it's from her point of view. And I really like that because the novels, I don't even know if I mentioned that, they're from Lena's point of view. It's all first-person Lena perspective. So
Oh, I didn't know
that's
that.
what makes them fun because
That's
it's
cool.
all in her head.
Unreliable narrator,
Yeah.
gotta say.
She's always giving you her point of view about everything and like groaning at things and complaining about things and calling out when things are cliches.
Well, that's perfect for Lisa Ortiz to do the voice or to read the books. Then, like it makes so much sense that. Well, and I love that I'm used to that kind of spirit being the like next time on is usually a character like out of character saying, "Oh, well, next time we're going to do this." Isn't that a silly one? But you get that for the previously on is from them too.
And it lets them animate less new footage, which is always nice. I mean, ultimately, a Slayers episode is maybe 18 minutes. If you count the full opening, the intro, the full ending, and then I guess in Japan there probably were previews for the next episode, but I guess the licensor didn't get them or they were lost, which often happens in this time period.
I think a good episode we could have covered is like the very first one. It's a really good introduction to what Slayers is and the character of Lena. But Kanzaka often would talk about in the YouTube videos, how like there are things you can do in text that you can't do in animation and vice versa. There's a good example in the first episode at the very beginning when Lena is stealing the bandit's loot and she's talking about how she's like a hero of justice or whatever, but you can tell she's just greedy. She just wants the money.
Yeah. And how's that different from the show?
No, I'm saying in animation, you can see the thing she's doing is different from what she's narrating.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry.
There's a
I wasn't sure
disconnect
what you were
there.
saying, but now I totally get it now. Yeah. Like you can portray things differently than how the narration is going on.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time. Yeah.
And she's the kind of character who would like boast things that aren't exactly true.
Sorry, I was lost in my notes while also listening to you because I forget what's coming up next. But yes, I want to get into the episode itself. So we get a title card I love that nice little sting, which is like a little truncated version of Get Along. And in case you didn't notice, I think this took me a few watches through Slayers before I realized it, and actually looking at an episode guide. But each of the 26 episodes starts with an English word, and they're all in alphabetical order. So the first episode starts with an A word.
Angry.
Angry, yeah. And then we are on passion. And by the way, yes, they find a word for X, and it is X Day.
That's
They
so
try their
cool.
best.
Yeah, and Z is Zap, by the way. But yeah, it's always like English word and then very long Japanese description of what happens next.
No, that's really cool that they. I noticed that it was English first, but I didn't notice it was alphabetical. That's so great. I had assumed maybe I was also partially inspired by. Well, I mean, spells in like JRPGs often are just the English word of like fireball or lightning or whatever.
Yeah, I believe like a lot of the spell names in Slayers are just English words, and then there's the words that Kanzaka made up, like Diem Wing and
Yeah.
Geogaya.
Dragon Slave, her most famous spell, is a weird one.
Yeah, and I guess they explained that like the meaning, the actual definition, or sorry, the title was like changed over time or something like that.
Yeah. There is an in-universe explanation of the lore behind the name of Dragon Slave. In Japanese, it's like Dragu Slave, so it's not quite dragon even.
Huh.
But it's such like a forbidden spell that like things about it have been lost to time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the episode in question here, and we pan across some forest somewhere on the way from Seirag to Cyrune. Saloon? What is it again?
I would say Cyrag and
Saloon?
It
See,
depends.
the R's and L's get switched
It's
up
like
depending
how-
on who's localizing it.
Yeah, like Lena Inverse is sometimes written as Rena Inverse.
No, that's wrong.
That is wrong. Yeah, and Amelia sometimes Ameria, which
Ameria,
is definitely
yeah.
wrong. But some fans will say no, it has to be Ameria. It's like the Eris versus era thing.
Yeah. But in any case, we're on the way from one city to another, and we go to Lena, Gowry, and Amelia, and they're slumped against a tree. Gowry says, "Let's fight some bandits," but Lena says, "Where are we going to find bandits? We're in the middle of the forest, and are they just going to be showing up here? There's no solution to their problem." And I mean, I want to limit tangents because we've been going for a very long time already, but one thing I notice in Japanese media is that there's a lot of jokes about being desperately hungry that I never see in Western media. Are we just overfed in the West? Do we just like not know what hunger is? Or is this the result of like growing up with people who lived through post-war Japan and learning about like hunger and people starving, things like that?
I wonder. I almost feel like it's a fantasy trope, though.
Hmm.
It's like the murder hobo trope, right?
I guess.
They're like a band of travelers going through forests and mountains and like killing everything in sight, eating everything in sight, looting everything in sight.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking, now Henry can identify with this. Cowboy Bebop, it always blew my mind that Cowboy Bebop, they have a spaceship, but then they're like, I'm so hungry, and they can't
Yes.
afford food all the time. So I feel like hunger is a go-to like comedy idea in Japanese media way more than in Western media.
Probably, I guess it's because it's like very universal experience.
Yeah, I just feel like we don't know what hunger is in the West for the most part. Or maybe
No,
we're not working ourselves to death. Go ahead, Henry. Sorry.
No, yeah, I put in I wrote Cowboy Bebop in my notes. Like, this is how an episode of Cowboy Bebop begins. Like, everybody's hungry. I will say, I think too, I notice in some anime I've seen is like in Cowboy Bebop and in this, it's just funny to hear a stomach gurgle of just like that. It betrays emotion of just like, oh, well, you say it like robs you of dignity too, a gurgling stomach.
Yeah, I remember when we would record together, Henry, and gurgling stomachs would actually appear on the audio track sometimes.
It's
Both of ours, by the way.
Yes, this time I had a nice snack before recording, so hopefully it's not picking up.
I think that's when we recorded both movie segments in the same session in person.
Oh boy,
We would just get very, very hungry.
That made me wish for some bandits to rob for food. Then
But Amelia, the do-gooder of the group, is slightly scolding Lena for wasting her energy screaming at Gowry. Lena decides to waste even more energy screaming back at Amelia. But it seems like in our first clip here that the crew has discovered a solution to their problem.
What's that smell?
It can only be
Food!
There it is!
Ah.
It's a godsend. A gift for the allies of justice. Hey, don't eat it all. Save some for me.
This is good. I wonder whose stew this is.
Details. Who cares? Amelia, try leaving some of that meat for us.
Hey, that's our food.
Who are you people?
The stew is really delicious.
And yeah, that hey, that's our food is Crispin Freeman. And you can definitely hear in the clips that I'm sure we have better recording equipment than they did. And they might have had not the best soundproofing either. Later on, there's some really hot mics too, so you feel like this is a low budget operation, but everyone's working their hardest. And you watch this in Japanese, Nina. When they all say that the stew was really delicious together, isn't it that common Japanese saying where like "thank you for the food," whatever that saying is?
No, it's not.
What do they say in Japanese?
Oh, they're just
Do
saying
they say
like
the stew is very delicious?
they were just saying like, oh, it's so good, or because it was so good. they're just giving the excuse
Okay.
that it was so delicious they couldn't help themselves.
So that was like set up for a way that didn't exist in the dub, I guess, in the English dub. So,
That's-
like, okay.
Yeah, I'm already noticing the differences in the script because I watched the Japanese version.
Yeah, that's so funny, Bob. I got you sent me the Japanese version too, and I watched it with the subtitles. And when that line, that was my second watch. When that line came up, I was waiting for them to say "Gochi so sama deshita," and they didn't. And I was like, oh, okay. Here I guessed wrong what they had localized.
Can you explain to the listeners what gochiso sama deshita is?
What is like thank you for the meal, or like this was very good, like that? It's what you say at the end of the meal, politely.
I only
right?
know what to say at the beginning of the meal. I'm screwed. Itadakimasu.
Yes.
The other one is too complicated.
Gochiso sama deshita?
Gochiso sama deshita.
Close enough.
There we go. They'll give me an excuse.
You don't have to say anything. You're an obvious foreigner. You can just say thanks.
Very good.
Yes, they'll
Give
love
a
that.
thumbs up. They'll love my huge nose no matter what. So
Throw some swear words in there and they'll love it
Yes.
even more.
So yeah, we see that they found a random pot of stew in the middle of the forest. We at first think they're being attacked by monsters, but we pan up from these monster legs to see it's an actor in the top half of a dragon costume, and then we cut to them inside
bottom half.
the bottom half of a dragon costume. Thank you. We pan across this covered wagon. We land on a tent. Inside, we can see Lena and Gowry chowing down and even more, and piles of spent dishes are around her. And yes, a big thing about Lena and sometimes Gowry is that she can eat a lot of food, and this is a very common jokey trope of your protagonist, but usually it's reserved for the men. So it's usually like a Goku or a Luffy. They're the ones who are having like dishes pile up around them and causing restaurants to go out of business as they're eating all the food.
Again, I've seen this trope in female characters a lot growing up.
I mainly see it in male characters, but I guess it's just what came over here.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I rewatching that first episode. It's one of my. I love that joke that they go to eat together, and he says like, "Oh, I'll buy you lunch." Gowry offers to buy her a meal, and then she orders everything on the menu, and I thought a worse comedy would have had Gowry like, "What? You're gonna?" But instead he's like, "Yeah, and I want 3 helpings of all of these." And it's like they both just are gonna pig out together. They're both silly characters.
Yeah, Lena and Gowry fighting over food is just a common stock go-to joke when they're hanging out at an inn or whatever.
They always bond over food, I feel like. Well, they fight over food too, but they both have a shared love of large quantities of food.
So yeah, we're in this little camp set up with this acting troupe, and we learn who they are. They're part of the Rossberg Players, a traveling theater company, and they're traveling to Mesquita, which everyone says in a different way in this dub. I hear Mesquita, Mesquite.
It's definitely based on the word mosquito.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah,
In Japanese anyway.
and they're going to compete in some big theatrical competition. And this actor, the nasal actor, explains everything to the trio, but the director interrupts him, and he is looking for Liana. So they've lost another actor, and the sole performer points out that there aren't enough to continue. The director says, "Oh, we've got actors," and it turns out that Lena, Gowry, and Amelia are the ones recruited to be in this acting troupe. And the first rehearsal is this afternoon. So already the comic situation is upon us like 2 minutes into the episode. We understand what's going to be happening here.
Oh, in Japanese, the director is looking for a person named Lena.
Oh, really? In the dub,
Yeah.
it's Liana.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
did make the dub a little jokier for this first season, so
Mhm.
maybe it was the idea that's like, oh, isn't it a weird coincidence? She has a name just like yours.
It's even a greater coincidence in Japanese because
Yeah.
it is just Lena.
It's this bit of them being put into service, like it's such a funny concept. It's always fun to see your characters put into like a put on the show thing. But this director too is just Rossberg. I wonder too if that is like some sort of pun. I'd only think it's like, well, Spielberg is the most famous director in the world. Maybe that's where the Berg comes from, but I wouldn't know. That was my only guess.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. If you've got a director character, something Berg would be a good go-to.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess.
And yeah, Lena, Gowry, and Amelia are recruited to be actors, and they're like going to rehearse soon. And we find out that from the one remaining actor, this director is crazy, or at least according to the dub, he's either a crazy genius or just plain crazy.
They also, speaking of Japanese words, I've only learned the word hayu for actor, but this show used the term yakusha, which I'd not heard that before.
Yeah, it's like a synonym for actor. It just means like, literally, it means role player.
Liar.
Yeah, role player.
That was fun. Building my vocabulary through subtitles.
And Lena at first doesn't like this new part-time job, but she quickly understands how the team can use it to their advantage, and we'll hear how in this next clip.
Wait, maybe this is a good thing.
Oh boy, now what are you thinking, Lena?
We can get free food from them all the way to Mosquito, and Cyreg's not much farther.
You're right.
And they don't seem to recognize us either. No way! What is this? Now what's wrong? Look at this! The title of the play! Bring us justice and peace. The death of the abominable fiend Lena Inverse. Abominable fiend? Give me that! Let's see. The fiendish Lena Inverse, possessing evil powers, had thrown the peace of the world into chaos when a hero for peace and righteousness stood up to defeat her evil. Go, brave hero, smite the evil Lena with the hammer of justice. Ha! We'll see about this. Why am I the villain? I'm gonna go complain about this.
Wait, Lena, not so fast. If you start complaining to them, then they'll figure out who we are.
I'm not abominable.
And what you're missing is the very great illustrations of Lena as a kaiju, as this horrifying monster. And again, nothing is moving on the screen, but they're selling a lot of the comedy with these very funny drawings. They're childish drawings too.
Yeah, and speaking of funny drawings, a few episodes before this, that's when they find out that they're wanted, and they find their wanted posters. And it's one of my favorite things in media when a character finds a wanted poster of themselves or something they recognize, and it's just a completely different depiction of them.
That happens a lot in One Piece.
Oh yeah,
Like bad wanted posters, yeah.
Yeah, they're drawn as like complete like evil villains in Slayers here.
Or the characters are upset that their bounty isn't high enough.
Yes.
I also love the cartooniness of that as Lena is talking about how much she hates learning what people think of her, or she like Duck-a-Muck style rips the screen in half, like, hey, like she took over the fantasy and like she's Deadpooling out here.
The original Deadpool, Lena Inverse. She's breaking the fourth wall.
And I want to stress that like Lena is not the most heroic character. She does a lot of bad things, not in a villainous way, but like her main motivation, like I said, is money and fame. So she wants to see herself as like a hero, but most people see her as like evil, and they're afraid of her.
Yeah,
she has this infamy.
Yeah, her reputation always precedes her, and it's often blown way out of proportion, where they expect some actual monster, not a teenage girl, to show up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I said I introduced myself as a parrot spooker in this episode because she's known as a dragon spooker, which is short for, was it like dragon?
Oh, I know this.
Dragon steps.
Step past out of clear revulsion.
Yes, which is a great localization of Doramata, which is like pretty much what you said, Bob.
I never looked up the original meaning of that, but yeah, that's her like nickname in this village she arrives at. They know her as the dragon spooker.
In Japanese, there's an idiom like even a cat would step over you, in that like they don't pay you any attention. So that's like neko mata, and then that's turned to dragon matagu, whatever. Here, I don't want to say the whole thing because whatever. You get the idea.
That's a creative solution.
Yeah.
That's what the dragon does in the first episode. Like it steps over her rather than
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. It like actually plays out the idiom in real life in the show. But yeah, we find out that this play is about Lena, and she has to humiliate herself by being part of it because they're wanted and they need a place to hide out and eat. So it's all for the sake of humiliation. But Amelia is the one who gets into it, and Amelia wants to be a do-gooder. She wants to be a hero of justice. She wants to be like the protagonist of the story. And we see her really getting into this by reading a cheesy line from the script, and we see a sight gag of like a microphone sliding into the frame, and Gowry and Lena in the recording booth looking very unimpressed and asking for another take.
I love that bit. Like that's so funny because it's just breaking it again of like, well, these are the actors doing it, and at least if the subtitles are to go by, in the Japanese, the line is like, you were breathing into your mic too much. And she's like, I was what? And then in the English, it's like, can you do that again? And she's like, again, I wonder if that was them playing off of, in the English one, they're just like, you're always doing too many takes, and so they
Yeah.
made that the joke.
Especially with a dub, you're like waiting for that beep to say your line, and you have to do it over and over and over again.
Throughout the series, I think Amelia often gets the attention that Lena wants.
That is true. Yeah, people, because she seems like a more like expected hero as part of this troop.
Also, Lena uses a lot of dark magic, and Amelia is a white magic user.
That's true. They have different abilities as part of their RPG party. So this little gag is interrupted by Rosberg, who's really sizing Amelia up, and he says, "You're coming with me." And Lena thinks their cover is blown, but then we cut to Amelia swooning over this new outfit, which honestly is not that different from her typical like cleric's outfit, but it's a little more heroed out. I think she has the pauldrons with this outfit.
Yeah, it's armored. It looks
Yeah.
cooler than what she actually wears.
It's a little cooler. And then this causes an outrage actor to be shoved to the side by Rosberg, and Rosberg, we learn that he is a liar, but we're not really sure like what is the truth with him. But he's like, "You remind me of my long lost sister," and Amelia falls for it immediately. She tears up at hearing this story, which might be true, but probably isn't. I think the story about his dead daughter is true, or maybe he's just that good of an actor in that moment later in the episode.
No, I think in that case it's true. I think that's what's implied.
Yeah, I love how Amelia loves this because before she never fits in the group because she is trying to play the straight version of like the hero that she heard in stories. Well, meanwhile, she's surrounded by regular people. And now here she gets to play a fake hero in a thing that finally fits her vision of what a hero is.
And finally take down that awful Lena Inverse. So we find out from the one remaining actor, like, this is why everyone is left, because the director is insane. We see one more actor depart. And while Lena and Gowry are learning the truth about this Doom troop, Amelia is really getting into it, and we'll hear more of that in the next clip.
Now I see. This too is part of my destiny. I, Amelia, humbly and respectfully accept this role.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Well, what am I supposed to do? You can't just ignore a gorgeous gal like me.
You're actually trying to outdo her?
You two will be playing this role. It's really big.
I don't know what it is, but we'll take it.
Whoa.
Okay, let's take it from the top.
My name is Lena, the embodiment of evil, the source of misfortune, the fiendish Lena who brings fear and destruction to this world. Come forth, my lovely dragon slave.
Gowry, wrong foot.
You're doing it
Would
wrong,
you get
Lena.
with it?
Come on.
No, the other foot.
Hold it, hold it, hold it! You have to be the dragon. For one thing, dragons are supposed to breathe fire!
How do I do that? And why am I the dragon?
So the Lena legend has been warped to the point where the idea of the dragon slave is taken literally. Like, this horrible monster Lena, who is 12 feet tall, has a dragon who is her slave.
Although the actual dragon slave might be even worse than that, because it is like such an enormous explosion. It usually craters entire towns.
It's more dangerous than an actual dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like that. Even though it's the oldest, hokiest concept in the book, for some reason in this anime we have basically two people in a horse costume, one in the front and one in the back.
Yes.
And that's like Gowry and Lena are inside the dragon costume, and Lena is the ass of the dragon to make things even worse.
Well, she's smaller, so she kind of has to be the ass.
I think it's just to humiliate her even more. This whole episode is engineered to humiliate Lena in as many ways as possible.
It's great how the director tells her, like, it's a big part. Like, they mean physically it's the two of you are big, but it's like, and then that guy, Crispin Freeman, as like, I am Lena Inverse, like that makes the scene even funnier, that he's like a bad actor playing the villain of the play.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's auditioning for Zelos.
Yeah, there's real bad acting in Slayer Stub, and then there's fake bad acting. We hear more fake bad acting in this
apologies
episode.
to David Moo.
He, well, who knows what happened to him? R.I.P.
I have no idea what happened to him.
He should work on a dairy farm, I think, with that name, which I should assume is fake.
You think it's fake?
It has to be fake. Most of the names I read on the cast list for the American dub are fake names. There is no Veronica Taylor.
What?
Yes.
Well, are they ashamed to be in anime or something?
No, it's a non-union job.
Oh, okay.
And they don't want to be blacklisted by the union.
Yeah, if they have like their SAG card or Actors Equity, then they can't. If they're going to do non-union stuff, they have to make up a name for it. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the director calls action again. The spotlights hit the stage. We see Amelia as the hero, suspended by this rope. She gives this valiant speech about the evil Lena Inverse, and we can see that she's really loving this. We get like a cut to her inner monologue as she's like clenching her fist and tearing up.
Yeah, I love the fiery look on her face, the spin around camera. I was pulling it back up on my phone. I just love that shot of her. Like they give her, they are getting to parody the animation of an actual like action show with her cool posing.
It's not too far from her actual character. She loves being the hero of justice and giving long speeches.
Yeah, going up very high to give a speech.
Yes, and then jumping off dramatically and then stumbling on her face.
Yeah, she's really into, like, she loves playing the roles, which is why she's really getting into this, which is why I think this is not just filler. It really is pulling out things about the characters.
She's kind of like Sailor Moon.
Yeah, she is.
And speaking of, in the next episode, when Gowry is in drag, he does have the Sailor Moon hairstyle.
I'm sure that was intentional.
Oh,
That'd be
definitely.
an absolute parody. So, yeah, now it's Lena and Gowry's turn to act. They're really struggling in this dragon costume. Amelia conks Gowry in the head with his prop sword, but we see the director demand realism. And he's all about injuring his actors with real weapons, real explosives. And he starts chasing this dragon slave around with a real sword. And then Amelia eventually takes out this dragon with one blow from her prop sword. And then we push inside the costume as Lena wonders, like, what's happening outside? The action has stopped. Then when we cut outside the costume, we see that Rosberg has strapped bombs and dynamite to the costume for pyrotechnics.
Yes, this guy would insist on real acid in there.
Yes. Put those goggles on, everybody.
Yeah, even though Rosberg was potentially named after Spielberg, he doesn't direct like Spielberg does.
He's more of a John Landis type.
Yes.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Sorry about that, everybody. And yeah, there's so many great Lena faces and wild takes, but I like how the exclamation "Aye" appears in her mouth before any danger can happen.
Oh, and it's like a little screen grab. Like it's less than a second. Like it's such a great little moment. Like that one made me really chuckle.
I love that it's "ai" too, because that's a very English expression.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
like "kya," the Japanese scream.
It's definitely pulled from like an American comic book or something.
Oh, for sure.
So thankfully the stagehands all rush Rosberg outside before he can blow anything up. And then we get a little more of the plot. So we cut to an inn at night, and we see that discord is growing between Zangulis and Vroomagan. Very cool names. These are the two bounty hunters after the trio. We don't know who they're working for quite yet, I think. Zangulis is the cocky swordsman, and Vroomagan is the mysterious sorcerer. And Zangulis wants to end this bounty hunter team up and simply kill this trio, but Zangulis says we have to bring them back alive. And that's a little bit of the growing discord between these two characters.
How would you describe how Zangulis dresses?
Zangulis is like he's got a big hat.
He's got a
big floppy hat.
A witch hat.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I can't really describe, like, his outfit is so unique. I don't
It's
really know
weird,
what's going on.
yeah.
He's dressed like a scarecrow is what I'll say.
He's almost like the man without a name.
Oh yeah, he's got kind of like a poncho.
Yeah, he's
and
kind of got a poncho, sort of.
this design does come from the novels because he's in the novels and this is how he's drawn. Like this
Okay.
kind of a look.
But why the witch hat?
I don't know. It's cool though.
I do like it, yeah.
But he's got like hair over one side of his face and the witch hat, right?
Yeah.
So I mentioned he has like not a lot of visibility.
Yeah, it's not very practical.
Meanwhile, the Vrugum,
Vroomagan.
he is so boring. He's
Yeah.
so boring.
He's got a little. I do kind of like his design. He has a little squash nose you never see in anime.
That's true. It's pretty rare to see a big nose like that. And more dub people. Zangulis is played by Ted Lewis, who was the first James on Pokemon for only a handful of early episodes. And he played the character of Giovanni very consistently since the beginning of the dub. So he's been playing Giovanni for like 20 plus years on Pokemon. So he's still doing it. I assume this is one of his first roles.
Yeah, I mean, in the world of Pokemon, Giovanni doesn't appear. He was the big bad of the first classic era, and so of course, it being such a well-known, probably the most famous era of Pokemon, occasionally he gets brought back for movies or storylines. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ted Lewis still hanging in there. I'm sure I'm still like directing or something like that. So we have a clip coming up here. So the crew is entering Mosquita in their covered wagon, and Lena awakes from one hell of a nightmare. We'll hear what that nightmare is in our next clip.
No, I don't want to be a dragon anymore. No!
You dare call that acting?
No more. I can't take it. Hey, guys, let's take off. They've gotten used to it. Hey, come on, guys. Let's blow out of here and get to Cyrad.
No way. I kind of like this gig. There's free food. And besides, I've become sort of attached to this guy.
Right. And you, Amelia?
I may have found my true calling in life.
Oh, great.
So they're in that city? The three who stole your part?
Yes, that's right.
Good. Let's go.
Huh? Hey, wait, let me go!
But Mosquito's a big city crawling with guards. We can't just breeze in and start a fight.
Oh, don't worry. I've already thought of that.
So you guys watched the Japanese dub. What's this actor's voice like?
Is it like this? I'm an actor and you tied me up.
No, there's not that much character to it.
Okay. They're having fun with this random guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love his design because he kind of looks like Amelia, so you can see how he got recast or how she took his part.
Yeah, same haircut, different color though, right?
Yeah, but a lot of people have the same haircut in this world.
They love the bowl cut in Slayers.
It's like it's Bob's haircut.
Yeah, that's why you married me.
Rezo, Zelgadis, and Amelia, they all have the same hair.
Zelos?
No,
kinda?
Zelos has different hair.
Okay.
His is like very straight with like straight bangs.
I see. I never got bangs.
Yes, like look at the Rezo plush I have.
Oh yeah,
that's your
That's
hairstyle
why-
with the
that's-
little points
This is
on
why
the side.
we got married. Is the Rezo doll?
Yeah, I didn't think it existed in real life, but here's Bob.
That's why I can never get a different haircut. Henry, sorry.
No, you gotta dye your hair purple soon.
Oh man, I can't do that. I'm 43 years old.
Yeah, I would be against that.
Thank you. So yeah.
I like you as a blonde.
Thank you.
A
thank
dirty
you.
blonde. Sandy blonde.
I'm a dirty blonde. Everybody.
Sandy is on your
Sandy's
ID
on
card.
my ID card for Canada. Yes,
Mhm.
important
Oh.
lore about me. So yeah, Lena, she wants to take off, but we find out that Gowry is into like the costume. He's repairing it. He's sewing it. Amelia practicing her fake swordplay in the back of the wagon. They're willing to disband Slayers entirely for the sake of becoming actors. I can understand why.
Also, I take back what I said before. I think your dub Gowry impression is pretty good.
Thank you.
I was thinking too much about Yasunori Matsumoto.
It hurts my voice.
His the Japanese Gowry voice is a lot
It's
smoother,
a lot deeper
and
too.
smoother. There's no raspiness to it.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a surfer dude in the dub, which matches. For
I think
him,
he's
his
going
look.
for like a surfer dude kind of voice.
Yeah.
Because you assume like airhead himbo kind of thing with that kind of voice.
Yeah, he's got like long blonde hair.
Yeah. And yeah, we see Zangulis on the cliffside with his monster posse. He's tied up the actor, and these are all Chimera. Is that correct? These monster guys, are they kobolds?
I thought they were all Mazoku
Okay.
or demons.
I don't think they're demons. I thought they're like naturally.
Oh, yeah, I guess
occurring-
demons look different.
Like the
been a while
wolf
since I watched
things are
this.
kobolds, I think, in this
Mhm.
world. And then like there are some Chimera.
I don't know. They don't make it super clear.
But I like the animal people, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like, they're
yeah.
Cool.
That's that nightmare sequence too. I think for Rosberg, he's really upping the John Lovitz there. Like he's like he's yelling it for so long.
Yes, that's a great performance there. And yeah, we don't get an eye catch here, which were very common at the time. I guess they didn't exist in this series, but the next two series have very fun eye catches. The little bit of animation that changes every time you watch it between the first act and the second act. We don't have those anymore, I don't think. We just get like the logo of the show in the corner before it fades to black.
They're great if you're recording it on a VHS tape.
Yeah.
And you're trying to cut out the commercials.
And usually it's just like one great piece of art.
Mhm.
Well, like multiple great pieces of art because they do change up the eye catch.
But in the case of Slam Dunk, there's some amazing voiceover.
Oh yeah, explain Slam Dunk, the anime series. The eye catches.
So Slam Dunk is an extremely famous Japanese anime series and manga series about basketball. And in the eye catch, it explains why basketball is great.
What does she say?
She
in
says-
English. In English, by the way.
Oh yeah, she says this in English. She's like, I don't have the exact script with me right now because I didn't think we'd go into Slam Dunk tangent. Basketball is great. Let's play it together.
Anyone can play basketball. Isn't there like you can just throw a ball or
She says, if you can hold a ball in your hand, you can play basketball, which is not true, by the way.
No, because I've held a ball in my hand, but I can't play basketball.
But
I've
the main
proved her
character
wrong.
in Slam Dunk can hold a basketball in one hand,
That's what she means.
Yeah, he has very big hands, and that's what she means. Can you do that, Bob?
I probably could.
You have huge hands.
Well, give me a basketball.
You know what that means?
Where's our household basketball?
You know what big hands mean?
It means big brain.
No, it means you can play basketball.
Oh, it's true. And play like a lot of games on the Xbox original, I think. Right? Big controller?
I would guess the eye catch wasn't in the budget for this show in the first season.
Yeah, like, we don't need it. Fade to Black is fine.
One Piece does still have eye catches. That's of the current ones I watch. But like Delicious in Dungeon and other current anime I watch, it does. I'm having trouble remembering it having eye catches.
Yeah, I think if it's a legacy show like One Piece or Detective Conan, which I think probably still has eye catches, they will retain those as just a legacy of the show. Like, it would feel weird if this was removed.
You know what? This might be a controversial take,
Don't
but
say it.
I'm not the biggest fan of eye catches.
Aw, but they're fun.
They're fun, but then you have to watch them over and over and over and over again.
I guess so. I didn't mind.
I will only allow the slam dunk ones.
I see. I didn't
Those are
mind them
fun.
so much.
But
Well,
what if
go ahead.
What if it's chibi versions of characters doing funny things?
That I do like that. That's cute, but again, it gets really repetitive.
It can. Depending on how much you're binge watching, I can see that.
Mhm.
So after the act break, we fade in on the city and see Lena walking around wondering, why am I listening to this crazy director? And her answer is in front of her. There are bounty posters everywhere for Lena and Gowry. I don't think Amelia's included in this because she joined them after their crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere she turns, she sees these wanted posters. And Zelgadis is on one of them as well, right?
Yeah.
That's a cute trick.
Zelgadis has briefly left the group in these filler episodes.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't. He's not really that heavily featured in this first season.
Not really.
But yeah, Lena is about to get busted by some soldiers because they notice, like, okay, this woman looks a lot like the people on the people on the posters. Rosberg finds her and he saves her ass because, oh, there's my long lost daughter. And as soon as the guard's like, well, you don't look anything alike, Rosberg decides he needs to punch Lena in the face to really sell this unhealthy relationship. And let's hear how this plays out in our next clip here.
All you do is cause me trouble.
Whoa.
Making your poor dead mother worry about you from up above. I know the path for you is hard, but we can walk it together. Now, come into my arms, daughter.
Daddy, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'll do what you say and be a good girl.
Good, you understand.
You're hurting me, Daddy.
Daughter.
Daddy.
All right, just try not to kill each other.
Taking off before a show. Good grief, you'll never be a real actor.
You know who I am, don't you? So, why did you help me out back there?
Whoever you are doesn't matter to me. You're one of my precious actors.
And a lot of this is visual comedy of them injuring each other while pretending to embrace and love each other. And they even do the classic anime, like both punch at the same time and hit at the same time. That classic. I don't know if anyone has ever done that in real life for real. The classic, like, hit each other at the same time boxing
very
pose.
hard to do.
It's like I think it's from Ashita no Joe.
It is, yeah.
That idea.
It's definitely a reference to that. That's a very famous panel from the comic book, which then got adapted into an anime.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that double punch in like a million different comedy anime. That's how I learned about. I don't think I've yet to see any of the actual Ashita no Joe series. I only just know its references in other anime.
And we didn't really talk about the music, but it's so etched into my brain, and there's not a lot of it because it's a low-budget show, but every time they play any of these songs, I'm like, God, there's like 20 songs in all of this first season of Slayers, and I've heard them so much.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they don't even really believe the director's lie. The guards are just like, you're making us uncomfortable. Like, just get out of here.
Stop hitting this girl in the face.
Yes.
Would that make it on Fox Kids? Who knows? It was a different time.
I forgot she's 15 when he's beating up a 15-year-old girl. When I have that in mind, I was like, you know what? That even though Lena can take it, but still,
I guess I always forget that Lena is a minor, and they do age her up over the seasons. Like she ages like 1 year per season, so she's like 17 in Slayer's Try. She seems more like an adult there, I guess.
Yeah, she could kill the director if she wanted. She's way more powerful than him.
She has a lot of magic. But yeah, they abuse each other, and Rosberg does bring up, oh, your performance reminded me of my dead daughter, who is actually real. And Lena's like, yeah, right. It's another tall tale by you. And then she sees he stopped walking, and he's got like a tear in his eye. So this could be the one true story that Rosberg tells. It's like the one bit of character that we really learn about Rosberg outside of his crazy behavior.
And I love how Lena kind of just shrugs it off. She's just like, whatever. Maybe it's true. I don't care.
Yeah, there's not enough time, and we'll never see this guy again. So
she does. I wouldn't say she dismisses it. She is staring at him as single tear rolls on his cheek, and he's the one who dismisses it. He's like, "Oh, whatever. Let's keep going. Whatever." He doesn't want to talk about it.
But she realized, like, I don't have time to process this right now.
Yeah.
We have to go put on the play. So she's like, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah.
The line in the dub is "whatever."
Oh,
I don't know what they say. I think it is. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're trying to convey in Japanese with that performance.
I didn't see it as like a dismissal.
Maybe they're just trying to make it funnier. For
Yeah.
the dub. It could be that. But yeah, she goes to the amphitheater. The audience is already there. The critics are there. They've got some very funny voices in the dub. We'll hear those. Lena arrives late. Rosberg is rallying the stage techs. He orders, "Raise the curtain!" And as it ascends, we see Amelia on the fake cliffside announcing her intent to take down the evil Lena Inverse. And my take on this is, this play is like 2 minutes long. It's bad. It's a bad play. It's about like a hero we know nothing about, killing a monster with one attack, and then the play is over.
But this is all they had back then. They didn't have
guess so.
YouTube or TikTok. They didn't have Crunchyroll.
They had Dragon Slave.
Yeah, I'm sure this is like riveting to them.
But they had magic.
Well,
true.
This is part of an entertainment competition, remember? So it can just be one little sketch.
Yeah, I
right?
guess it's just like a sketch instead of an entire play. But yeah, we see Amelia on this false cliffside with a false front. It's part of the stage. And like in rehearsal, Lena and Gowry come out in their dragon costume. They're more coordinated this time. Rosberg is like even nodding in approval, like, there they go. I'm proud of them. But then there's a sudden twist because Zangulis, wearing this childish mask, arrives with his Chimera goons behind him. And I've seen this kind of mask before. It's like a very Japanese kind of like cheap plasticky mask. Is this like a reference or just a common Japanese pop culture thing, Nina?
Yeah, you saw that recently at the Japanese festival here.
Yeah. I was wondering. I usually see like they're like in the shape of like octopus faces sometimes.
Yeah, the more classic ones, but they often are like famous characters too, or whatever is popular at the time. Like usually it's like Anpanman characters or like Doraemon or Astro Boy, but more recently they even have like Pretty Cure masks.
Right, but they're like for festivals, right? Like
yeah,
Japanese festivals.
Basically, they're for like kids to win at a festival, and as like a summer festival. And I think the mask that Zangulis is wearing is I think it's a reference to Akazuki Chacha.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It looks a lot like her. It's not the exact same design, but as soon as I saw that like a long time ago, I thought, oh, this is Akazuki Chacha.
I could see that with Amelia being the voice actor, and maybe JC Staff animated it. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, wasn't those type of masks also like that was a major plot point in 20th Century Boys, right? Wasn't one of the characters always hiding behind one of those types of masks?
Yes, I forgot about that.
In Majora's Mask, there's the mask salesman with all those masks too, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that meant to be a reference to like festival masks?
Yes, because when you meet him in Ocarina of Time, he's selling masks like at a festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
cool.
that's where he comes from.
I also kept projecting Llewellyn Sinclair onto him in this, because not just because he's backstage shouting at people, but also he's dressed like how Llewellyn Sinclair dressed as Pablo in that episode.
Yes, I was thinking of him too. Play enjoyed by all. Was I right to fire Lena Inverse?
I think our award speaks for itself.
Yes. So moving on, the critics with their gnarly voices are impressed by the animal costumes. I can't wait to hear these guys again. But we know what's up because Zangulis is there with a bunch of animal pals with weapons. They're rushing the stage, and we'll find out what Zangulis' plan is in our next clip here.
Brave heroine, we have come to help kill this villain. What the? Who's that? I don't know which one of you is which, but let's get him.
Hold it!
That's a real sword!
Now you just relax there, pal.
He never told me about
How
this.
far is he taking this?
I said calm down.
Mr. Rosberg, are you okay?
I don't know who these guys are, but they're after us.
Don't cause trouble, Lena, or else the guards will come.
You idiots! What's happening to the play? What about my play?
It wasn't our fault, really. That's it. We'll just keep going.
What are you saying, Lena? We can't just...
This is a show, right? And the show must go on.
Right. That's right. The show must go on.
I have directed 3 plays about Lena Inverse, and I have had 3 heart attacks.
That last line by Rosberg was not in the Japanese track.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You think
They're having
you
fun.
knew it was ADR?
Yeah, I could tell. They're dressing up
Or
this
ad-lib,
first
rather.
this first season dub a lot. More in the first half than the second half, but they do add a few jokes here and there.
Lena, she even says the show must go on there in English. But in the subtitles, it seemed like she said pretty much the same kind of like, we got to keep the show going kind of thing. But also I like, it's just funny to hear I even laugh at the bad actors in this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who was called in to voice this lizard guy who grabs Rosberg. He's like, "Come here, you! I'm gonna grab you. Get over here." It's sort of like Bluto and Popeye cartoons.
I love the lizard guy in general.
Yeah. This is weird lizard man because a lot of things happen because it's very visual, but I wanted to give people a sample of like the anime sound effects and the fun voice acting, but it's very visual because Rosberg, Zangulos and his animal goons rush the stage. Rosberg is pulled from behind by some lizard arms. Zangulos' goons chop the head off the dragon costume and then chop it in half. Thankfully, Lena and Gowry are not hurt by these attacks. Rosberg is being held captive by this lizard man backstage, and he pulls on a rope, which drop Lena and Gowry in through a trapdoor before this fox man can slash them. So it's like a lot of action happening at once.
I feel like there are more animal characters in this than any other episode.
Yeah, animal characters. Well, there is a really great fox guy in Slayer's Try as a major character, like a kind of like a little Meowth style character. But yeah, early on there are more animal characters in Slayers.
Like earlier in this season, there's like a wolf guy.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's cool. And there's like fishmen.
Mm-hmm. They're creepy. They're creepy and gross.
Yeah, but for the most part, they're not like a huge part of this world, except for in this episode for some reason.
Yeah, I guess these are all the guys that Zangulos could hire.
And they're all really like goofy looking animal guys, dude. They don't look cool at all.
Yeah, I love the animal creatures in this series.
They make good for filler, I would guess, because they don't have to like fully design a human. They just be like, well, that's the fox, and this is the dog, and this is the snake. You just it probably saved them some design time too.
And yeah, Rosberg agrees. The show must go on, and we go back to the stage. One of the goons cuts through the big Lena costume, revealing this panicked actor inside. And Zangulos is like, well, I'll just kill Amelia instead. Who cares? And Amelia's like, I'm an ally of justice. But he doesn't really care. But the critics are really digging this very surprising play. Like, wow, so many twists and turns. When suddenly the trapdoor explodes from under Zangulos, and Lena and Gowry elevate to the stage on a platform as triumphant music plays. And this is when Zangulos' mask splits in half, falls to the ground, revealing the cocky smirk on his face. In our next clip here, we see that Lena now decides to actually act and put her full force into this play.
At last you appear, the Devil King Zangulos.
Huh? What happened?
Your evil powers changed us holy warriors into a dragon, so that imposter of me could try and do us in.
One twist after another.
Yes, very nice.
But now that we have regained our original forms, your evil scheme ends here. Hey, holy warrior, why don't you say something?
Who, me? Okay. Now you will meet your doom.
They're getting all the attention. They're stealing the show. Ah, just as I suspected. Then it's time we join forces to destroy evil. Let's go!
This is great! Destroy evil! Ha ha! You will all be destroyed!
They're having fun with it. I like how the one critic sounds like Globey from Pee-wee's Playhouse. Like, oh, Pee-wee, there's someone at the door.
The people in the audience and the critics, they don't look like they belong in this universe.
No, they're really weird looking.
They're very, like, not consistent with the style.
Yeah, I think somebody was just like, we don't have time to approve any designs. Just draw what you think a critic looks like.
I'm sure Araizumi was just, like, squirming in their seat
Yeah.
watching it.
Who are these people?
The critics, especially when I saw them, I was like, they really look like they're an artist on like a self-insert, or it looks like a parody version. It reminds me of how like the the director drew himself in Excel Saga, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know where these guys come from. They don't belong in this universe. And I gotta say, Lena Inverse has some good improv skills. You know,
Yeah.
like she's like a level 1 UCB probably, but still, I'm impressed by what she's able to pull together out of nowhere.
And even Amelia's like, yes, and I'm also teamed up with you guys.
Yeah, they're yes-anding. So, we see all the Chimera and like Kobold and animal people rush in. They get blown away from Lena, Gowry, and Amelia by a huge explosion, and now Zangulos is without a posse, and Lena gives this little speech with a tiny aside about what a ham she's being. That was her opening clip. She's like, wow, I'm kind of embarrassed by this, but a little proud of how I'm able to perform in front of an audience.
That was another one where I did catch the, she just says, hazukashine, well, like, this is embarrassing in Japanese, right? And the ham line is funny from Lena.
I think the ham is a nice dressing up of that line. Yeah. That she's actually enjoying it a little bit, but while being slightly embarrassed. But Zangulos is like, enough of this farce. He snaps his fingers, the doors around the audience fly open, and now there are more creatures arriving, heading towards the stage. And you'll hear this classic Slayer-style battle unfold in the very next clip here.
So you can't fight your own battles?
I'll do whatever it takes to settle the score with Gowry.
I think he likes you.
Gee, lucky me.
What a display!
Great special effects.
Lena, Amelia!
Oh no, you'll fight me alone.
It looks like real magic.
I'm coming, Amelia.
Hold it.
Brumagian.
I knew I couldn't expect Zangulos to take care of this. Boost bolt.
All right, then. Breathe! Arrow!
Useless. What's more, unless you're ready to blast everyone around us, you can't use your dragon slave.
Nice work.
So a lot is happening, but most importantly, Vermigen's mic is very hot. They need to turn down the gain. I'm sorry, Taj Productions, whatever you were called.
This dub actor puts actually too much emotion into the lines.
He's a lot more lifeless in the Japanese version.
Yeah, because he basically has no soul.
He's a demon, right? Or like
he's
a projection,
clone.
a clone. Okay.
Yeah, there are several Rumigans.
Right.
Yeah, I like how he points out that, the if she used the dragon slave, it would kill everybody, which she's being a little more careful this time. But it's such a great, it's the closing joke of the first episode. But here it does mean that unfortunately for plot purposes, we don't get to see the dragon slave animation, and I really love how Lisa Ortiz does the incantation for it too.
Yeah, I like how they made it like a poem in the English dub version. I'm sure it's very powerful in the Japanese version. You might attest to that, Nina, the dragon slave, the chant, the spell.
Mm-hmm.
It's good in Japanese as well.
Yeah, I think the translation is very well done.
And meanwhile, we're seeing a sword fight with 3 frames of animation.
Yeah, it's a little cheap between Gowry and Zangulos. And we see all of the team using their different skills. Amelia doesn't like violence, so she's kind of turning away as she's blasting people with the energy shooting out of her palms.
Throughout this season, at least in the filler episodes, Zangulos is Revolver Ocelot, and Gowry is his snake.
So that he's got a crush on Gowry.
That's not what I'm implying. I'm saying he constantly wants to have a dick waving contest, basically.
Who's this guy?
Because he also has a very powerful sword called the Howling Sword. And Gowry's thing is he has the Sword of Light, which is the most powerful sword in existence.
Right. So he's got a more of a reason to go after him than just the bounty.
Yeah, it's just a lightsaber.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
They're both swordsmen. I don't think Gowry cares about this competition at all, but Zangulos is hellbent on proving himself.
It's a lightsaber if the lightsaber was also just a regular sword that you could use, and then you unhook the hilt, and then the blade falls off, and then the light comes out of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot he has to take off the blade
There's
first.
a little key you turn in the hilt to knock off the blade.
And Lena wants the sword really badly.
That's why she is following Gowry around.
Yeah, it's
initially.
kind of like Misty following Ash for her bike back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But
It's,
it ultimately ends up being like an excuse to tag along with him. She
Yeah.
actually does care about him.
Yeah, eventually.
Well, and Lena does tell Gowry, and she just joked with him of like, "Oh, this guy's really into you, huh? Or this guy's obsessed with you." So, yeah, at
There's a
least
bit of a joke there about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he is popular with the ladies in the play. It's funny how in Japanese, the women go, "Oh, he's so cute," but in English they translate it as "he's so cool."
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
But he's being a bad actor too, right? Like they're still impressed.
So yeah, so Lena tries to cast Freeze Arrow on Vroom but his spell dissipates all of the arrows. But Rosberg is still throwing dynamite, so he can get hit with the dynamite and not the spells.
Yeah, I liked the that his insanity pays off. Here earlier they didn't like his explosives. Now his explosives save the day. All while the audience is none the wiser that they're almost they're in a lot of danger.
And Lena, being Lena, decides to risk collateral damage after being told that she wouldn't by casting Fireball at Vroom not Dragon Slave. And even Vroom like, she's crazy. Sorry, that was Gowry. Oh my god!
I love the fireball animation.
Yeah, it's
they
really
reused
cool.
it a bunch, but it's a great one.
And the only disappointing thing about the episode is just how it immediately ends because they run out the clock on this play, and then like Lena throws the fireball, and everyone's like, "Let's get out of here!"
Yeah, that's the most it feels like filler where they're just like, oh, wait a minute, guys, gotta go, and we can't have a conclusive end to this fight with Gowry. Gotta get out of here.
And then Zenglis is like, I guess I have to leave now. And he's like, and next time, Gowry, I'm going to kill you. And then Lena just blasts him off into space with the DM Wing spell. This is much like Team Rocket getting blasted off again.
Yep.
They're not doing the classic Japanese like pose with the like devil horns. It means something different.
Oh yeah.
There's actually like one frame in this episode where Lena is reacting to something. There's like one frame of her doing the little pose, like the surprise pose, whatever you call that.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that comes from. It must be a reference to some really old gag comic.
Yeah, I'm guessing it is.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it from Urusei Yatsura, but Takahashi, Rumiko Takahashi, she's a big fan of she grew up loving Doraemon, so maybe that's what she got it from, or similar.
It's definitely not from Doraemon because Doraemon's not really a gag manga.
I'm gonna say it might be from some kind of like stage tradition or something like Kabuki. Maybe or
I prefer no theater.
Skeptical.
I'm not getting into this with you, Henry. I know where this is going.
Kabuki is different from no.
I know. I know. So we're going to leave this topic entirely, and we're going to sum up this episode with our final clip here in which everything comes to a very nice conclusion.
When the battle's over, the supporting cast has to leave the stage.
Although this battle may be over, the three warriors cannot rest until Zangulis has been defeated.
What an excellent performance.
They really got the crowd going, too. And everything seems so realistic.
I think we have this year's first prize winner.
Ah, yes, they're loving it. Of course they love it. Those kids are great actors.
I was supposed to be the star, Miss Lena.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Lena, let's get together later, okay? I think we can make the dragon part even better.
No thanks.
Oh, I'll do it myself then. Roar! Roar! Roar!
And weirdly enough, Slayers is like one of those 90s anime like Evangelion and Sailor Moon that has a very 70s sounding soundtrack. I noticed it's like very brassy and 70s throughout.
Yeah.
Breezy too. Breezy in that way.
You
Yeah,
didn't tell me Julie Kavner was in this.
I like that. That was an excellent play. I liked it. Yar, matey. It was like a pirate. But no, it was more of like a down-tempo like, I
like
also
Wolverine.
thought it was great.
Is it the Wolverine voice actor?
No, I was thinking it like for me to poop on is what the guy was going to say next.
I also like how Amelia is like, Lena, you stole the show from me, but it's like Lena's the main character. She's more interesting than you, Amelia, you know?
And then we get the closing song, which Nina, how do you say this? It's a mouthful for a non-Japanese speaker.
How do you say it?
Kujikena ikara?
There we go.
My heart?
You got it.
Hey.
I actually broke it down into different like phonemes here.
No, but see, here's your problem. The I should be part of kenai.
Well, thank you.
It's not part of kara.
So it's
That's
Kuji Kanai Kara.
Yes.
My heart.
That's a bit closer.
Yeah.
Because we were practicing this earlier, listeners.
It's hard. It's hard.
Because you kept saying kuji kenai ikara, but it should be
Yeah, it's probably 'cause I wrote it-
kuji kenai kara.
And it means because I won't give up.
Yes.
Right. And
Loose
then
translation.
one thing I can say is peace of mind to be.
That's correct.
Yeah, which is the English lyric in that song.
It's like the last line, right?
Yes. And yeah, also a duet between Hayashibara and the other
Yes.
singer whose name I already forgot.
Oki.
Okui?
Okui, yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes, and it's Masami Okui. So thank you for your great voice and your great duets. And I guess there were next episode previews narrated by Lena, but they were not included in the licensed version of this. So we don't get to hear them, but they are accessible in the Slayers Try and next dubs, so you can hear Lena talking about her next adventure.
Oh, why didn't they include those?
I feel like licensor was like, oh well, why do you want this? You're selling these as a package. Why do you want to know what's coming up next? This is for broadcast.
I don't know, because it's fun to hear Lena narrate things.
The anime industry was very fast and loose in 1995.
I could see them either being too cheap or they even just lost the tracks or something.
Yeah, I could see them like, okay, we made these for TV Tokyo, or maybe we gave like voice tracks to TV Tokyo and they put them together for us, and we're not working with TV Tokyo to give you these masters. So it could be that.
But
does that help you?
I miss them. I miss having the voiceover on it too. Even though on the upload of it that's on Internet Archive, it's like silent. It's like the preview video, but there's no talking.
Oh, okay. So I guess they did exist in at some point. They were found at some point. Does that help you?
Help me with what?
You're concerned about why they're not dubbed or available.
I mean, I'm not concerned.
I would be concerned. I want to hear more from Lena about what's coming up next. But yes, that has been our Slayers episode. It's been a long time coming, which is why it's been a long episode. And we're recording this on a hot August night, so we hope you enjoy it. Anything else you want to say? I think we've sold Slayers to the audience right here with this podcast, and it's not available. You can still watch it, but if you enjoy it when it becomes available, please seek it out and buy it, because I'm sure whoever picks it up next, it won't be very expensive, because after the initial Slayers rush, it was very, very easy to find Slayers streaming and in box sets, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully like a discotheque or what have you will pick it up, or a Retro Crush will start streaming it or something like that after this recording happens.
You know, when we did Future Boy Conan, then like a day later after it released, it got announced for a release. So maybe we can put a positive jinx on American licensing once more with Slayers.
I would call that a blessing.
Oh, sure.
But I like the term positive jinx. I'm jinxing you, but in a good way.
I think it's a Pokemon type.
Oh, positive jinx.
Yes.
Speaking of Pokemon.
Do you notice Slayer's influence on my artwork? Because this was very formative for me as an artist as
Oh,
well.
for sure.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, at least like in some of your older stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think a lot of it has kind of dissolved. But if you look at my older art, I mean, I used to do Slayer's fan art, like, all the time. So the way I draw the hair, the way I draw, like, the eyes and some of the facial proportions and even some of the body proportions is very much influenced by Slayers. And I said earlier that I'm not much into, like, sword and cape fantasy stuff. Because I am so much into Slayers, if you ask me to draw a fantasy character, it would basically be a Slayer's character, like with giant pauldrons and like a cape and whatever else you would see in a Slayer's character
You should
design.
draw us in Slayer's world.
That would be fun.
As custom OP characters.
I would do that. We've got like the Gowry and Lena height difference.
And the haircuts?
Yeah.
To match?
Well, you need the Rezo hair though.
That's coming back, don't worry.
I don't have very long hair anymore though.
Well, you can cheat. You can cheat in your character design.
I would also say for any listener who hasn't given Slayers a try yet, if you enjoyed like I thought the Dungeons and Dragons movie from last year or the year before that, recent with Chris Pine in it, that had the feel of watching a Dungeons and Dragons actual like group do a storyline together, and it had that kind of like comedy feel to it. I think there's a little bit of that in this show too. Like it feels like an actual troupe of like people arguing at a table playing their characters like you get in the D&D movie.
Yeah, I've heard people describe Slayers as a D&D game gone wrong, but in a fun way.
No, I've most of my D&D or tabletop role playing was more arguing with other people in character rather than actually doing heroic things.
That's why you have dice. I guess those games didn't have dice.
I took a
limited dice. Yeah,
I took a peek at the Slayers fan Reddit to see what people thought of this first season, and it seems like it's a general consensus that Next is like the best season. That's the second one, and the people who like this one, or even the people who don't like this one, say this one is more based on tabletop RPGs, whereas the other seasons it's more like close to Kanzaka's work. Do you see that?
I can see that. I mean, the first season spends a lot of time, like, very slowly going over a lot of rules and lore.
Maybe that's why you like this so much. There are so many rules.
Oh, I love rules. You know me.
I mean, you brought this up in some other podcast. I can't remember which, but there's a whole episode where Lena can't use her powers anymore because she's on her period.
Yes, actually, I forgot to mention that. Maybe it was on Evangelion, but yeah, this and Evangelion are the two shows I've ever watched in the history of anime that have referenced the menstrual cycle.
And that really impressed me. And of course, Gaori's stupid, so he doesn't understand.
Doesn't know what it is. Like a lot of teenage boys watching
it's
anime.
It's true, yeah. I'm sure a lot of people didn't catch on to what they were talking about.
But yeah, it was a plot point. It wasn't just like a gross out joke or like, ew, she's on her period.
Yeah, exactly. And that really impressed me because, yeah, like you do basically feel like you've lost your powers when you're on your period.
And
for those who
it
menstruate.
took a male writer to figure that out.
So, like, I very much implore people who might not be super into anime to give Slayers a try.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I guess for now it's free if you want to watch it. You know where to look. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Well, and if you're a big Pokemon fan, you'll recognize a lot of voices, for sure.
Yes, the nostalgia will make you like it even more. But yeah, this has been an episode of What a Cartoon. Thanks for hanging out this long for a very long episode in September. We're doing very long episodes this fall, Henry. We've got a 3-hour King of the Hill coming up later this month. What's going on?
Yeah, it's the long theme month. That's what we're doing. Let's call it a theme month.
As the days are getting shorter, the podcasts are getting longer. But Nina Matsumoto, you live here, which is nice. But aside from that, where can we find you, and what are you doing?
These days, I'm mostly on Blue Sky as spacecoyote.com, which is also my website. And I'm on Instagram as space.coyote.art. But if you want to interact with me, Blue Sky is your best bet. My day job is designing video game merchandise for an independent company called Fangamer. And if you want to see all my stuff, you go to fangamer.com, sort by collection, sort by artist, and click on my name. More recently, I designed stuff for Mouthwashing, Homestar Runner, Ace Attorney, Astrobot, and Deltarune.
Awesome. All great games. And lots of big stuff happening this Black Friday for Fangamer, I assume. That
you
can't talk about.
Stay tuned. We've got a lot of things cooking.
I'm peeking over her shoulder. I'm breaking NDAs
No,
as we
don't
speak.
look. Don't look.
I should be arrested. Yeah, but as for us, if you want to support our show and get all the episodes ad-free and a week ahead of time and access to a lot of extra stuff, go to patreon.com/TalkingSimpsons and sign up at that $5 level. When you do, again, you'll access all the ad-free podcasts you could ever dream of listening to. And then you'll also access over 200 bonus episodes covering shows like Futurama, King of the Hill, Mission Hill, Batman the Animated Series, and The Critic, Talking Critics, our podcast series. And also at that $5 level, you get 2 episodes a month of extra stuff. That is 1 episode of Talking Futurama and 1 episode of Talk King of the Hill. And like I said, this month's episode of Talking the Hill is like 3 hours long because we cover the reboot, and we were so excited to talk about that and for you to listen to it. So again, that is at the $5 level at patreon.com/TalkingSimpsons. There's a $10 level. When you access that level, you get access to 1 very, very, very big podcast once a month for patrons of that level. What's going on there, Henry? Before I say level again, please tell the people.
Oh yes, it is the What a Cartoon movie podcast where we go even more in depth into an animated feature film. If this is what we did for Slayers, you better believe we go super in depth into the Lego Movie this month, just the same. And that's just the most recent one we're doing. We just did a whole summer of the Disney 2000s films. And if you liked all this anime talk, we've covered so many different Japanese theatrical released films, including Project A-ko has a lot of similar topics, especially the English localization. We did the Cowboy Bebop movie. We did Megumi Hayashibara's in the end of Evangelion in a major role there, too. And then let's also mention our Disney Renaissance, all of the Toy Story movies, and tons other. You can see the entire collection at patreon.com/TalkingSimpsons. I bet over 200 hours just of us talking about movies, plus all of the ad-free and exclusive bonuses at the $5 level are there too when you sign up at $10 a month at patreon.com/TalkingSimpsons.
And I've been one of your hosts, Bob Mackey. You can find me on, Blue Sky and Letterboxd as Bob Servo, many other places as Bob Servo. And my other podcast is Retronauts. It's a classic gaming podcast about old video games. You can find that wherever you find podcasts, or go to patreon.com/Retronauts and sign up there for 2 full-length bonus podcasts every month. And Henry, what about you?
I am HENREYG on Letterboxd, and I am also Talking Henry on Blue Sky and Instagram, and I'm always posting up a storm there. And don't forget that we have great social media accounts that you can keep up to date with what's going on the podcast or on the Patreon. That's at Talk Simpsons Pod, wherever you follow things, at Talk Simpsons Pod. And don't forget that TalkingSimpsons.com is your source for all of our previously released free podcasts.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll see you again next time for a free preview or extended episode of What a Cartoon Movie, all about the Lego Movie, and we will see you then.
Oh no, that's the 10th one. What are we going to do? We don't have enough actors as it is.
Enough actors? Oh, we've got actors. For you, and you, and you. Study your scripts carefully. First rehearsals this afternoon.
Say what?
You guys are in for it. Now you've caught the director's eye.
That's the director?
Yep, Mr. Rosberg. He's either a crazy genius or just plain crazy. Well, best of luck.
What? Hey, we're actors now?
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with AutoQuote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.